Boston and Cam Waters, almost the same situation. Better contact going down to the hill. Sam Noble with the simple name holding down. Sam Noble. Dodds just absolute. But it's a really nice move. Blake Delaney had to move out of the way.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Tuesday night SIW Sim Racing World for the V8 Supercar Am Series, brought to you by our round sponsor, Racecraft Simulations. My name is Brendon Walton, and today I'll be joined in the commentary by Sainted Rob, and we are here in the UK for our Ashes series this week at Brands Hatch Indy GP. Rob, how are we feeling about tonight?
Oh mate, I'm excited. V8's at Brands Hatch. Turn 1's going to be an absolute mess for these boys, and I can't wait to see the carnage that follows.
Yeah, I have to agree. I think Brands Hatch is a track that we see more commonly in the GT3 series, or the shorter track with the open wheelers. I personally think it's a track that's going to suit the V8s. It's undulating, there's some banked corners, there's some long straights, and some genuine passing opportunities, and also some very tricky spots on the track, as you alluded to. So we jump into the session here with we've got 5 minutes left to practice. There's going to be a top 10 shootout tonight, so unfortunately 3 or 4 guys are going to miss out on that bit of action, and then we'll go live for an endurance race here at Brands Hatch, 80 minutes around the GP circuit.
Yeah, I think pitch strategy is going to play a big part tonight, Brandon, with that Enduro. I mean, it is relatively short. I mean, the boys are pulling a minute 24 seconds, so it is a relatively short lap, and I think it's just going to be quite a strategy race. I mean, like you did allude to some passing spots there, and we see a lot of unforced errors here at Brands Hatch, just whether it's been braking zones or just pressure piling up. We see it week in and week out, so looking forward to it.
Yeah, braking zones. Yeah, the braking zones are a big one around here, especially we saw Brad Mays there coming up the crest to the top there. That's sort of a blind apex. You got to brake a little bit later, the corner before that as well. You have the apex over the crest, and then as you mentioned, turn 1, it can be when you get it right, it can be magical. When you get it wrong, it can go very, very wrong. Excuse me.
Graham, so we're just sitting on the top of the hill there as they come down. This is one of those key spots right here where they're braking and trying to turn the car in. And they move through the Surtees. It's again another passing option here because it's a weird corner, this one, isn't it, Brenda? This turn 4. It's kind of like a double apex left, but it tightens.
Yeah, it tightens, and it also apexes a lot later than you think. You've really got to brake a lot deeper. It kind of tricks you into braking early. You've got to go a lot deeper than you think, and then that double apex or a late apex, depending on how you want to take it.
Yeah, so it's a very tricky corner. So definitely keen to see what the boys want to handle that. We're just starting to wind up now, but we've got 3 minutes left before we go to Polly. Then after Polly, we'll try and have a bit of a chat with the drivers while we shift over to the top 10 shootout server. So might have a few intermissions tonight, folks. Don't forget, we'll bounce around, try and get the top 10 server running, and then we'll get into the race server as well. So bear with us as we bounce through the servers and try and get in there as quick as we can. What's the what is everything looking like tonight? There's the weather for tonight. It looks like a 25-degree track temp and about 19 degrees air temp, so it's pretty decent sort of race weather there, Brenda. Partly cloudy.
Yeah, ideal conditions, I'd say. Partly cloudy, and from what I was reading in the info there, it's a fixed state, so it's going to remain this way for the entire race. So we're not going to have any major temperature drops, any major changes to the track. So drivers are going to be able to settle in, find their rhythm and these conditions will make for great racing here in the UK.
We wouldn't expect much of a change in the UK weather-wise, would we? I mean, it's pretty standard
I mean,
weather over there.
yeah, if it's not raining, it's going to, and if it is, well, then, you know, it already is. But thankfully, iRacing doesn't simulate the rain just yet. And we've picked a nice, fine British summer's day, even though it's winter over there at the moment. Some might think it's winter over here too, actually, the weather we've been having, but...
No, we're still in summer, unfortunately, so... just jump on
Yeah, someone tell the rain.
Yeah, tell the rain to go away, that's right.
Yeah, tell the rain.
So, nice little water there, it's nice to have.
Yeah, you see there jumping that curb, getting that line wrong that we alluded to.
Yeah,
Oh, definitely. So Ray Oliver, he's up in the series lead, in the series contention at the moment, up in the top 3. Let me just find the right screen. I did have the season results just there in front of me. There we go. So currently leading the series here after four rounds is Brock Modesthead. On screen there, that was a perfect little bit of timing. Ray Oliver sitting in second place with Frogleap Juice Racing. Peter Pavlovic in the KFC car sitting third, and SIW's commentator alumni Cowie sitting in fourth place, not too far behind. He's actually fourth equal with Bradley Wall, one of the SIW admins. Pretty competitive here throughout, actually, looking through the points. So Modesthead 557, Oliver 508, Pavlovic 483, Cowie and Bradley 474, and Leif McClement 465. So, you know, the top 5 or 6 guys are all pretty close, really. So it is anybody's championship, and a track like Brands Hatch, I think, is really going to separate the men from the boys, and especially being an Enduro too. That endurance, that stamina, that mental toughness is really going to play out. Dylan Gray there, currently top of the time charts as we do finish practice, so he will be the last one to run in the top 10 shootout.
No, this is only practice, mate. We haven't done quali yet.
Yeah, quali's a top 10 shootout. The quali practice is quali.
Wow.
Isn't it?
30-minute quali.
They have 30-minute quali. Oh, right.
And actually, while we're talking Dylan Gray here, I noticed he's now switched to LMR Esports, so that's quite interesting and quite a good move, I think. Getting in around the LMR boys, really taking to another level.
Yeah, I saw that in the chats today, and I didn't wasn't aware of it myself. So yeah, it's always interesting when people change teams, often for opportunities. You know, they might want to race with different guys, change the scenery. You know, different opportunities. I know different teams race different cars, have different priorities when it comes to what they run, whether it be, you know, more V8 leagues or more GT3 leagues, or, you know, a bit more oval for a bit more all-rounder. Yeah, so whatever the reason is, I hope it works out for him, and no doubt he's a pretty competitive driver here in SIW, and we'll see what comes of it.
He's pretty quick. I've known Dylan for a little while and watched him throughout his racing journey, and he just gets better and better. And like to see him now in I guess a team where the structure around what they do is probably very suiting to what he likes from the team as well. So I'm sure he's going to look forward to that and embrace that very much. We see a few other esports boys with us as well, so interesting to see a bit more competition within the teams as well. So bringing a different attitude and a different mentality, I think, is going to be a strong point. Like you said, we've seen a few of the Alpha Venturi boys, the Kittens Racing boys, even Fishy Motorsport in there. So just, you know, bolstering the ranks of the team battle. So I like it. As we ride on board the power now, as you've just done that nice warm-up lap, and we'll see how it goes in this lap. No one's really seen the lap on it, or someone saw on the map. I see Steven Sinkovich on the server as well, where he's just on the plane, right on cue. So that's the boss man on the straight. Oliver might be the first. No, he's just going to be warm-up lap. drop of time, so we'll jump on board with Dylan and just see how this drop is like. He's got a couple of purpose sectors in it for a good session, I guess. So see what he can do. He was give us some practice, so we can just translate that into quality. Brendon keep himself up the top there.
Yeah, quickest can practice. He set that lap quite late in practice too, so he'll be looking to carry that momentum straight through into qualifying if he can. Brian said though, you can see already on the timing screen getting right up in behind a couple of purples in the green sector. Obviously the purples are session best. The greens are just personal best for that sector. So Dylan, the first one across the line, he will set the time. Dylan Schultz comes across in second. He's a second behind, but Modested coming across here with 3 purples. And he...
24-5, 24-6 and 25-8. That's going to be on between young Dylan Gray and Brock Modested there. They're fast times. I think that... I'm not sure, but I want to say that's very, very close to their practice times as well, those two boys.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you, I didn't actually take much notice of what their practice times were. I can't actually recall off the top of my head. Ray Oliver jumps up there with a 25-25. Cowie with a 25-27. So plenty of close times there. Bradley Mays coming across with a 28-7. Brett Taylor 27-0.
Remember, they're shooting for the 10s, so they're trying to get inside the top 10, make it to the shootout and give themselves that one lap opportunity. They're trying to get the best there in time and the other 9 competitors around them. So as we watch Stephen Martin, green zone goes up. So I bought that lap. Hold on to it, Steve. Tim Nickel. No, beautiful Pecky's colour. That's such a nice car, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a nice looking car. Yeah, I remember seeing, I can't remember who it was on Sunday. There was one of that livery running in the on Sunday night as well at Winton. Not Matty Keane. It was whoever finished behind Matty Keane. I can't remember who it was now. Finished top 5 anyway, so.
And it's all just part of that team thing, like boosting the team.
Yeah, and I mean, even though I can't remember the driver, it's good that you can recognise the livery. You know, that's the point of a good livery. Stands out from the crowd, and it gets that team that recognition. Even if I can't remember what, even if I can't remember
if you
what
can't
it
remember
was.
their names. Well, Bradley Warlock in P5. That's a good lap. That's a solid lap there in the SRW. Warren Brown Tools.
Warren Brown Tools car. Yeah, I believe it's got Grime on the bonnet as well. Another one of our series sponsors. Steven Sinkovich there. He's in the racecraft car.
That one stands out. I might look at that one until it just pops out from all the other SIW cars. It's easy to spot.
Yeah, well, there's not many guys running white cars on the grid either this year. It's a lot of bright colours and a lot of sort of chromes and all that kind of stuff coming in now, with obviously the spec maps being introduced a bit more into iRacing. So yeah, just the plain white car does stand out a little bit now.
Let's see what team can put this in on 3. Daniel Kirk
Yeah, Tim Nickel. This will be his first lap across the line, so don't take too much notice of the greens. It's going to put up into 7th, 25.88.
So Peter Pavlovich has got our 10th spot and he's right on that bubble. Bradley Mays is not far off that. A few of the other boys, Shane Nichols, Steven Sinkovich, they're not far off that.
Yeah, half a second. Carl Hodgkinson's just joined the session as well. So expect him to set a pretty quick time when he joins. He's fairly competitive in this lot. He'd be top 5 for sure. Shane Nickel just improves his time. Pavlovic again just jumps up back into the top 10 after Nickel took it off him.
They're tossing and turning up there. It's like, you have it. No, I want it. No, you have it. They're starting making voice. Oh, Linton Wills comes in. That's put Pavlovic out of the team and dropped Stephen Martin in the P10. So that's a nice lap there by Linton Wills. racing. Maybe elevate himself up the order from P6. We can get some jump to. He does. He comes up to P4 right behind Ray Oliver with a nice 25.27. Actually, look at the
identical
times
to
between
Cowie.
Schultz and Cowie. Yeah, I was just about to say.
Identical.
The boys are, there's Andrew Cowan right there on stream. 125.27, so that's a tie. I'd love to see what the third digit is on that.
Yeah, Cowie's not going to worry too much about that. He knows there's a top 10 shootout coming.
That's all he's shooting for.
You've only got, three or four, maybe 4 or 5 drivers are going to miss out of the top 10 shootout, so you just got to be in that top 10. Don't have to push too hard. It's looking like we're going to have a field of about 16.
Yeah, it's looking like a field. So Leaf Club could drop it a decent amount of time. Not exactly one of our slowest drivers either, Leaf. Got a bit of experience around the Sunday night and stuff, so be interesting to see what we can do. Steven Sinkovic still in P12. Not far off the pace though. For the top 10, I think is right there. As Leaf pulls out of that lap.
Yeah, well, he's only a tenth off making his way into the top 10.
Yeah, that's right.
And it's quite interesting, given my return to racing this year, I found I've had the pace, but I've lacked the consistency, and I think, that's sort of where Stephen falls in as well. He's certainly got the pace, but obviously, as we go on the race, he sort of, for whatever reason, just struggles with that consistency, as do I, and look at that.
Just get snaky on them. See, that's what we're going to see. These exits.
That's not the commentator's curse. That's exactly what happens.
Bradley Walsh is on full greens. Tim Nichols just jumped up in the P3. That's been a stellar lap there from Tim. But Bradley Walsh, what's he got in this one? He's got a nice lap on him. As he brings across the line, does he elevate himself?
Doesn't look like it.
No, he stays there. Oh, and he's straight. Oh.
Off track just for the... He did improve his lap time, but it was still only good enough for 7th place.
Green and 2 orange. Ray Oliver's also on a bit of a nice lap as well. To see if he can elevate himself as well.
He gets in all kinds of
leaving
sideways.
licorice straps behind him. I think the cars are faster when they're going forwards, Pete, not sideways. That's probably important. Henrik Allen going 3 during practice as well.
Yeah, Steve Nichols was on Shane Nichols, sorry, on a good lap as well. He'll be coming up behind Pavlovic here. I'm thinking he's heading off track. Oh no, he was 2 tenths slower.
Dylan Gray's on track as well, so he's running a little bit quicker. I don't know if he really needs to push that. He's pretty well cemented in the 10 right now. So the driver in all this just wants to go faster and faster until we can't go any faster. Comes along. Oh, someone's taking a purple set off him. Rock Modderhead is...
Yeah, Rock Modderhead.
24.37 for Dylan Gray. That's a quick run.
So he has gone quicker. Here comes Modderhead now. And Carl Hodgkinson's coming across the line for his first lap as well. Got a funny feeling he's got an off track there.
Oh. No, he didn't. He didn't improve on that. 24.7. So still just.
I think he matched his last lap time.
I think he did. I think he went exact same.
I'm pretty sure he's matched it exactly the same.
Oh, that's crazy. Andrew Cowan, he just on the back of another green sector, so he might be set to improve just a little bit. Like to see 25.27 currently. What can he do as he brings it across the line? He does. 24.6. He puts it in P3. And then sends it straight in the dirt. So thank you for that, Kelly. Appreciate it. Who else is on that? Leaf is on
I think that seems to be the strap tonight. Just put the car in the sand, slow it down quickly. quick toe back to the pits.
Leaf with a little bit of sideways action there. Still, solid lap. And he's not currently inside the 10, so we'll have to see if this can carry over into the 10.
He hasn't actually set a lap time yet.
So this could be the lap that puts him inside the 10, but it's still going to put Stephen Martin on the bubble. Just.
Oh, he's backing out.
He's okay. He's taking the pit out. Okay.
He's looking like he's not going to qualify, perhaps.
Maybe not.
Surely you would, being it's a top 10 shootout.
We'll drop back to Mr. Spinovich and see what he can finish off here. Again, he's not far off the 10. He's literally only like 1/10, 2/10 outside the 10. So anything could happen, given that he's there. No, still in P12.
I think he off-tracked that one because it hasn't come up saying last lap. Hasn't given him a last lap time.
Callum Hodgkinson, again, someone else who hasn't got a lap time under the belt. So I expect Callum to drop into the 10, but again, like I said, it's very tight in that 10 level 12 area.
Yeah, Cullen's pretty good at just dropping in a time right in the last sort of few minutes as well.
There he is.
He'll deliberately take off tracks as he's running his laps early on in qualifying, just so they don't count. I've noticed it's a bit of a strat that he does.
It's just a fuel course. I'm going to jump over with Shane Nickel now as he's looking at a nice green first sector. Stephen Singovich is setting orange all over the place there. Not sure what that's going to be. Mr. Singovich, he's retracting something.
This last corner, through this last sector. This last corner too, we haven't talked about, that can be quite tricky too, especially when you're side by side. That braking zone comes up on you a little bit. And it's sort of it's not really an off-camber corner, but it's certainly one you've got to hold your line on.
Or as he goes off, that's that tricky spot because if you get a good, as you're talking about there, Brendo, if you run out of that last corner really well, you actually gain a few k's an hour down that little front chute. And then all of a sudden you get to the end of it and you're like, oh, I've got to stop and turn. And that dip that sort of turns away at grade, it sucks the car out to the dirt. It just wants to pull you right out to that kitty litter. It's so easy to just get left out in that area.
It definitely is.
Jump on board with Rand.
Here we
Just have
go.
a bit of a look at the driver's eye perspective and see what it's like riding on board with Rayola.
So these are those tricky sort of corners I mentioned right at the top of the broadcast. The apexes are kind of blind, they go over the crest. You sort of just got to trust that you know where they are. There's a very late turn in here. Very easy to run wide on that corner as well.
It's very similar to Road Atlanta in that aspect of those blind apexes. Road Atlanta gives you
Yeah,
the
it
same
is
feel.
Yeah, it definitely is. You sort of just got to trust that the car's going to go where it is, and you've actually got a lot more grip than you think. So you've really just got to have that good feel in the car, commit to the corner. When you start getting fiddly and clever, that's when the car unsettles, and that's when you end up on the grass.
Outside, so again, he's purple in the first one. Around, so could be challenging.
But improve.
Does he have enough in him to take that away from him going away? Peter Pavlovich is on an absolute string over that.
Has improved.
Has improved, but not enough. That's still a cracking lap, though. He was just going through that last. Right, he's just finished that. So we're at 25.9. So again, inside the top 10. So now Brett Taylor is in the 10th spot. So it puts Steve Martin just out of it now as well. Stephen's still not far off, but it's looking less and less likely as it gets older into the session, really.
Yeah, 2 or 3 tenths, for those guys just missing out at the moment. So it's, one good corner exit really makes all the difference for all of them. Pavlovic now sitting somewhat more comfortable in 9th.
I was never in doubt of Pete making the 10, but it was just how close is that 10 spot going to be?
Well, of course, what you've also got to consider is Carroll hasn't set his lap yet either. He's, deliberately missed a couple. So you sort of would expect him to finish somewhere between third and seventh,
Yeah, I would expect to see
if not higher.
Callum Whiffen being there or thereabouts. Definitely Brett Taylor just backing up with another green sectors there. So, again, is it strategy that Callum's playing? Is he just playing the games and just getting into the minds of these boys and just trying to get in there and play a few head games? I would.
I think he is, because of course, when you're in the car, you'll be able to see what lap time you're doing on the heads up. So him just not giving away what he's got in the tank at this early stage, he sort of keeps the boys wondering, because they'll know he's coming, they'll know he's sort of time late.
Well, you say that because, these guys all race together, so they know roughly everybody's pace. They know, someone will look at, say, Ray Oliver and go, okay, I know what his pace is, so I expect him to be there or thereabouts. They all race with each other, so they kind of know, so they're watching, they're waiting. Brett Taylor still just puts in 26.3, so that keeps him here in P10. He's not far away, he's only about 4 tenths off coverage.
Yeah, you generally know where guys' paces are at, but obviously if these guys have a bit of practice at a certain track or have something up their sleeve, they might just choose to use it a bit later. Or someone like Carl who hasn't set a time, he could deliberately qualify sort of somewhere between 7 and 10, come out and set an absolute blistering lap in the top 10 and put the pressure on, so plenty of options there.
Absolutely.
Stankovic had a couple of greens in that last lap, but didn't improve his time.
It looks very tight down the bottom of the hill too. You look at the different lines as they approach this bottom corner. This is coming off the uphill hairpin under the trees there. You can see at the top of the screen. They're running down the hill, and then it sort of braking zone is, you're kind of turning the car. It's not a straight braking zone. It's very hard to keep that smooth, isn't it?
Yeah, it's kind of a tricky thing because the car wants to go out, or sorry, you need to get the car out to the right from the exit of the previous hairpin. But then you've also got to fling it back to the left as we saw it from that angle, or the outside of the corner to really take a smooth, fast line through the left-hander there. Off turn 3, a wee bit loose. Going through turn 1 was Dylan Gray.
Andrew Cowan's
going to back out. Cowie's got a purple sector and a green, so this could be an improvement.
That's a session best purple. What's he got at the line? Oh, he's not quite.
Yeah, 4 thousandths lower than his best.
Look who we were just talking about. 3 greens.
Yeah, and he said a lap time is only good for 11th though.
Yeah, it's only P11, but again, it's far off. He's literally 0.01 off Brett Taylor. I'm not even.
Oh yeah, I know.
26.3, 26.31, like 0.1. Like that's crazy. You see Tim there, pops a purple set. There's thank you boys. Oh, that goes well with my car.
And Carl will have a lot more pace as well.
Oh, for sure. He'll definitely get comfortable there.
Tim's been a bit of a quiet one this session. He's obviously been sitting up near the top, but we haven't really seen that many laps strung together. It's the first time we've seen him with a couple of green and a purple, a couple of oranges there through the middle. He's currently sitting in 4th, so he's got room to improve. A little bit too much curb there on the inside of the last corner. The run down to the straight now, and he does improve, but not good enough to improve position. He stays in 4th with a 1:24.67. Just narrowly behind Cowie, sitting on a 1:24.64.
What is a close on? Like this is what you see for good racing. They're all so tight on their best laps. They're always close with their lap speed and lap time. Right Orange got a green. We'll jump a little bit coming down through turn 1. There's that turn 1 that just wants to suck you right out there. Oh, right out to the edge of the lane. nice shot there.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, the track limits around turn 1 are pretty lenient. You can get your car onto the green Astro grass, providing a wheel doesn't touch the sand. And I think it's the same on the exit there at turn 3 through Cooper Straight. As long as you've got a wheel on the ripple strip, I don't think you'll be off track. So those are probably the two spots on the track where you can sort of abuse the track limits just a little bit and get away with it. Dylan Gray with the purple sector coming into the final couple of corners.
I wonder if he's picking up a little bit of draft though off the back of
No, that looks like Bradley Wall actually.
I wonder if he just picked up a little bit of that draft. I'd love to see his
I wouldn't put it past him.
24-1-6 actually.
He has 24-1-6. He does improve.
He's bettered his time again. That's crazy.
And honestly, looking at that, I think you're quite right. I think he did have a bit of help there. So a good lap with Toe, you could probably almost break a 23 here, I reckon. So 6 minutes left in the session. That's probably good for another 2 laps, maybe 3. Ray Oliver, his lap takes it off track. So at the moment we've got quite a few cars just sitting in the pit lane there, as we can see. Dylan Gray, Ray Oliver, Bradley Walls making his way out now. Pavlovic, Taylor, Martin, Brad Mays, Leith Clement, yet to set a time actually, Leith Clement.
Yeah, Leith hasn't set a time, so I don't know, maybe Leith might be happy to sit there and just give himself a little bit of breathing space and a little bit of room.
Yeah, we're certainly not seeing any improvements on lap times there. Brock Motter he's so quick through that second sector. He's had a purple there, it seems, the last 2 or 3 laps, but just struggling to put the rest of the lap together.
And a green.
Oh, he's picked the green.
Of the session. Kenny top Dylan Gray and jump up to number 1. It'll be the last lap in the shootout. Brock Montesek comes across the line. Doesn't. He does improve, but not enough. 0.07. Mate, these guys are really pushing, and that's good to see up the front there. You'd expect to see those boys.
Oh yeah, definitely. You think I think he just needs one more purple sector. We know he's got the pace through 2. If you can just get one more sector purple, he'll be on there. You see Dylan Gray massive burnout leaving the pits. He knows that 0.7 seconds probably isn't quite comfortable enough anymore.
Not with 4 minutes left in the session. I don't know whether Brock will head back out. Maybe Brock will make a little tweak to the setup and maybe try and squeeze another lap out. Not too sure. Callan's got green in there as well, so this could be just enough to lift him up into P10 and make the shootout. So as we gear up for a shootout, this is going to get very, very feisty in the last couple of minutes.
Yeah, at this stage now, if you come around, you do your out lap and get back in, you should just have enough time to make 2 flying laps. Cal comes across the line. He doesn't improve on his best. He's 2 seconds slower. That was something went wrong there. Howie on his out lap. And again, Sinkovic only needs a couple of tenths. 26.3 is currently the benchmark. Sinkovic on a 26.69, so 4 tenths, let's say. If you can get another green sector, you'll be close.
Doesn't need much, does he? Just needs to buckle the belts up a little bit tighter and just hang on.
I'm not a fan of touching that inside curve myself. I think it slows the car down just a little bit too much. Although he got the green sector, so what do I know?
27.9, so it was a slower lap end. Bradley Wall silently just coming through now. So lap times just diminish a little bit. That does bring Bradley Wall up into P5, but that's Ray Oliver back in P6. That was a quicker lap, and that's the same last lap that Tim Nicol ran. And he's only 0.1 off Tim Nicol overall.
Yeah, Tim Nicol's got a purple there, but the rest of the lap isn't coming together, so he's taken that second sector off Modesty.
The greens
They're coming through. This could be close here. If he can improve, he might find himself in the top 3.
Can he get it?
I think he's always got another purple.
Oh, he's done it. He's dropped
Got him
Cowie.
the third.
He's jumped him. So Andrew Cowie now P4, Tim Nicol P3. The top 2, I think, are pretty well set. I don't think those boys are going to come back out for the lap.
Yeah, Cowie is out on track. Cowie's about to start a flyer.
Cowie's on the fly.
Or he is on a flyer.
Oh, and
He's not.
gotten loose. That's
He
nothing
got
flying
commentator
about that.
cursed. Well, he's flying across the grass.
That's pretty much going to wrap up that for Cowie. I think he'll get out and get around to another lap.
Yeah, Tim Nichols looks like he's going to try and do another lot if he's backed out of that. Pavlov
He's one who could jump, and he needs a couple of big seconds. This would be very strange from Cullen if he doesn't get up the top at 10. Just keep our eyes on a few of the other boys there. So Cullen is oranges, isn't it really? It's consistent, right?
He's just, I think he'd expect a little bit more from himself. Although it does give him the chance to take a bit of a break, start from 11th, watch the shootout, go have a cup of tea. Cup of tea, what am I talking?
He's done it. He's gone into P10.
Done it. He's stuck in the last second. Wow, that was something. That was really something by Cullen Hodgkinson. 0.03 of a second, he pips Brett Taylor, and Pavlovic now on a couple of green sectors as well. It's not going to make a huge difference. Brett Taylor was able to start his last lap too, so he has a chance to get back into the top 10. Brett Taylor is the car to watch here right now of the 3 running.
He doesn't need much. He doesn't
He
need
needs
much at
3
all.
thousandths of a second.
You just got to keep it clean and be on his personal best. I think he'll jump this, but has Cullen got another lap? Cullen has gone for another lap.
Oh, I think Cullen will be coming in. Well, in saying that, he doesn't know what Brett's doing behind him. He has
Cullen
come in.
Yeah, Cullen's boxed it, so
It's not looking likely. There's too many orange sectors here. Unless he can pull something miraculous.
he's going to finish the lap. What's he got? Come on, Brett. Bring it across the line. Barney there waving the checkered flag for the session, and Brett doesn't improve. Oh, he does improve, but he misses out by the smallest of margins. 0.02.
Yeah, he improved by just
0.02.
1,000 second.
Oh, so gut-punching. That was so close. Alright, so now what we need to do is we need to we'll throw up our intermission, but we might drag
Way ahead of you. I've already pulled a driver in, Brett Taylor. We were just watching that last lap there of yours, mate. You missed out on the top 10 by 2,000 for the second, 0.02. How are you feeling after that one, mate?
That was that, mate.
Yeah, that's you, mate.
Really?
Yeah. Up by 0.02, mate.
Scheisenhausen. Oh, what a crack.
Yeah. So obviously you're sort of feeling pretty confident in the car. How are we looking forward to the race, man?
Yeah, look, I'm looking more forward to the race than I was to qualifying, so Yeah, I want to just be consistent.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, well, mate, the good thing about not making the 10 is you've now got yourself 10, 15 minutes to go and enjoy a beverage and a snack. And
Exactly.
we'll see you back for the see you back for the
Exactly
race,
what I'm
mate.
going to do. Good on you, boys.
Alrighty, we'll catch you later.
Thanks, mate.
Where were you, mate? Valve, there we go. Alrighty, we'll pull in one more, and then we'll go to intermission. You there, mate?
Oh, we dragged in Cowie.
Hello, Cowie.
No,
hey,
not Cowie.
We dragged in Cowie. Mate, how was your qualifying?
bad.
Talk
It's
us
sort
through
of one of those things that to find those last couple of tenths, you've got to really cut those couple of big corners really hard. So so I got the 24.6 there, I think, and I was fairly happy with that. I think the optimal's like a 24.2 or 1, but it's really cutting the line fine, and it's so easy to pick up an off track or run wide and void your lap, and that happened to me about 5 or 6 times there.
Yeah, it's certainly easy to do. We talked about it a little bit in the during the qualifying there, the track limits and how much you've got to use them. Looked like you had the pace, mate, but yeah, as you say, those last few tenths just eluding you. How are you feeling for the race coming up, or shootout coming up first?
Yeah, look pretty good. I think, again, it'll come down to how many guys actually put a lap in, I think. So if there's, by the time I'm running, if there's 4 or 5 guys that avoided their lap with an off track, then you can just have an absolute red hot go at it. And if you do bin it, you're still gonna start 4th or 5th. Whereas everyone puts a time down, then you've got to be a bit more careful maybe and make sure your time counts. So yeah, it will be interesting.
Yeah, definitely, mate. I will enjoy this short little break before the shootout. Best of luck. And for now, we will go into an intermission, and we'll be right back very soon with the shootout.
Go for it, man. Go for it. Have fun, lads.
Right, welcome back. We'll just say goodbye to the boss man, Stephen, as he bounces on out of here. But, yeah, we are out on track. That's Callum Hodgkinson out getting ready for his one flyer. Brendo, this is where we're probably going to see some bells and whistles happen, isn't it?
Yeah, well, we had a little bit of a chat to Cowie there just before we went into intermission, and we continued that afterwards, and he sort of said, you know, all it takes is a couple of guys to not get a clean lap here in the shootout, and all of a sudden it's a very different looking top 10. And obviously we saw Carl in the initial qualifying session just struggle to put the pace down a little bit, so it'd be very interesting to see what he has to offer here as he comes through across the top of the track now, down the dip and up the other side.
So we will jump on board, we will sit on their shoulder, we'll ride with each of these boys on their shootout lap. And we'll go from here over to the race service, so the other boys are sitting there ready. So as we jump on board now with Callan, we'll sit here and we'll ride with him. Brendo, take it away, mate. Ride us through this lap.
Yeah, well, it looks like he's got a pretty good exit off the final corner, coming down, trying to spot that braking marker. I tend to use that white line across the track. Seems to be a pretty good point. Using all the track on exit, you can really abuse that curb there. Again, blind apex here through the top hairpin at Druids. Looked a little bit loose there, mid-corner, manages to catch it, swing the car right out wide, brake late, hook it in late as well. Again, you can be fairly aggressive with the exit curb here through Cooper into Surtees. That late apex, hold it, turn. Yeah, very nice line there from Carl. The run up through Pilgrim's Drop. Tripping over me words here. Another one of these
just
sort of
he caught the grass.
big catch there, and that's going to give him an off track, and that will be his lap, null and void.
At least he didn't crash, so he'll get back.
I don't know, he may have saved the off track, but
no, it's come up in we've come up as he's got off track, so unfortunately that's going to lock Callan down there.
So that will lock him into 10th place. Just going to say those blind apexes over the crest makes it very, very hard. So he will return to the pit this lap. Peter Pavlovic now, our 9th qualifier, already out on the track.
He's jumped in there, so we'll switch over. You want to drag in, where is Callan? Let's drag Callan in here. Is he there? Can you use in the green room? We'll bring him in. Callan, what happened there, mate? Callan, hello? We got you in the box?
Yeah, guys, yeah, I just pushed a bit hard and dropped a wheel.
Yeah. You were looking good in practice there, and then just Collie just bit you right in the tail, eh?
Yeah, just couldn't get a lap together. But, you know, all in all, it's not too bad. I'll see how I go in the race.
You comfortable for the race?
Yeah, I'm happy with the car. I'm happy with the setup, so yeah, can't complain. Should be good.
Good luck out there.
Oh, best of luck, mate.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Alrighty, so we ride on board now with Pavlovic going through turn 1 up into the hairpin.
Nice shake there on the wheel.
Taking a midline through the hairpin, looks to have got away with it quite nicely. Lets the car drift out. That was pretty close to putting one on the grass as well.
I'm glad I wasn't the only one who saw that.
Don't want to be touching the inside curb, but he gets away with it. Probably a little bit early on the apex there. Touching that curb, pushes the car out wide. Manages to regather it now for the run down the straight. Of course, he's just got to finish this lap. He'll set the benchmark.
And that's where the pressure will build, because these other boys will see his time, won't they? They'll be like, got to catch it. Oh, is he?
Oh, that's close.
Oh, he was.
Oh, and he's done it again.
It's off track. So,
He's done the same thing as Cal.
No.
So the boys struggling at Hawthorne Bend here.
Just pushing a bit hard. With we've got Pete there in the green room if we want to drag him in, mate, and we'll have a chat with him.
Where is he?
In the green room, right above us.
Oh, he's in the green room, not in the other one. There you go.
There we go. Peter
Pete,
Cutler.
mate. Same sort of incident there as Cal struggling with Hawthorne Bend. Took us through your lap, buddy.
Yeah, it was a bit of a shocker. Yeah, kind of screwed up a few things there, but anyway, it is what it is.
Just pushing a bit too hard.
Yeah, and just not enough practice, but all good. We'll see where we end up in the race.
Yeah, well, I mean, worst case, you're going to finish ninth, so you'll sort of be where you were anyway. Best of luck for the race, mate. We'll leave you to it, and we'll catch you again shortly.
Alright, no worries. See ya.
Have a good one. As we bounce down
Alrighty.
over with Linton Wills, again approaching that turn 1. Takes it nice and early, doesn't he? He's got a nice early shake, doesn't need to do anything silly.
Yeah, interestingly, the approach he took into the hairpin looks like he almost double apexed it. But he's got the quickest time through sector 1, so he's been quicker than the other two, using all that curb through Cooper's.
We're just getting asked to drop the boys back in the briefing room, mate, not the green room when we're finished, so.
Oh, that was just a finger slip. That was.
It's alright, but as we watch here, so this is where we've seen the
drag
troubles.
them far enough.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This is
coming
where
up
we've seen
into
the
Hawthorne.
troubles. As you get through here, he's in, turns it in, runs it out. Yeah, no, it's fine.
He must
See
look
the
a little
top.
bit cautious.
Thank you. Oh, he's...
No, he's got Hawthorne wrong as well.
He hasn't. No, it didn't come up as an off track, so he's managed to keep it. Oh,
He's using all the race
he's
tracks there.
using the extreme limits here. Oh no,
Very
he's,
sh- oh, and he's lost control.
He's gone there.
Oh,
Linton
no.
Wills. Bring him
Linton,
on
mate,
in.
we'll chuck you into the commentary booth as you regather the car there. Seems like conditions in the shootout are challenging. No one yet to set a lap. Talk us through it, mate. What went on?
I was going so conservative because I actually wanted to set an actual lap because I knew I'd go at least P8, and then I got about a little off track and decided, well, I'll put it on the wall now. The lap's dead.
Yeah, we wondered if you'd put it off track that previous lap. It looked like you might have just caught it. That previous corner, sorry.
Once I hit the grass, just pulled me out a little bit further off just to get the off track.
Yeah, alrighty, mate. Oh, well, not to be, so it will be an 8th place start for you. Best of luck in the race, mate.
Awesome, cheers.
Alrighty, so we pick up Daniel Schultz a little bit earlier than some of the other drivers, coming around the second to last corner now. Getting that last minute warmth in the
I was going to
tyres.
say, he's seen the 3 boys before him go off, and he's like, I've got to make sure I got warmth in these tyres. As we jump on board with him and get this exit, see how he fares up. So we've seen it all up the back end of the track there, Brendo. Nothing early on, it's always about mid-circuit.
Yeah, seems to be that Hawthorne corner coming through into Westfield that sort of seems to be proving difficult for these drivers, and already you see what looks like quite a conserved approach through the hairpin for Schultz.
He's definitely he's not quite as hard, is he? He's definitely just rolled back a little bit, just trying to make sure he gets his lap completed, I think.
Yeah, he's still going quick, don't get me wrong, but he's just running a very conservative line. You can see the input there in the steering wheel, very subtle. He's not really overdriving the car, not pushing too hard, just wants to get a benchmark down.
Well, he's seen the other guys go off, so he knows it's possible that everybody else could drop off, so he's just got to get the banker lap. He's just got to get it done. Oh.
Oh, a bit of an early turn in there. Got away with it. So coming up to Westfield. Cuts the crest nicely.
So far, so good.
So he looks like he
Oh,
will be.
no!
Oh, no!
Oh, no!
I
just-
spoke just a
Oh
second
no,
too soon.
Schultzy! Oh no,
Oh,
drag him in.
Schultzy, I can only apologise, mate. I was just about to say it looks like you're going to be the first driver to set a lap, and then instantly you lose control through the final corner. Mate, talk us through that one.
Yeah, obviously I wasn't up on any of my times from a previous session. Just again trying to set that lap. Tyres probably weren't quite up to temp on the rear as I come through that final corner. Unfortunately, I haven't spun there in all the sessions I've done, and it's the first time I've actually spun at that corner. So yeah, I pushed too hard too early. So hopefully the race ends up better than what it is at the moment, and we can move ourselves forward off that start, mate, and jump some cars.
Yeah, mate, definitely. Seems like a lot of you guys have the pace, but this top 10 shootout proving very difficult. We'll pop you back up into the drivers chat, mate, as we jump on now with Ray Oliver as he comes around the final corner in an attempt to set a lap.
What's Ray, our 5th runner already?
Yeah, that'll be what, 7, 8? Yeah, 5th runner. Yep. Very wide line into turn 1. That can be costly if the car doesn't want to turn in. He's managed to get it down the hill though. That was a very different approach through 1. Keeps it tight through this turn 2. The car doesn't have to drift out the same when you run that tight line. Uses the curves. You see already he hasn't got that purple sector, so he certainly lost a bit of time there with his entry into 1 and 2. A little bit wide again, missing the apex mid-corner catch. So again, not the quickest time. Just watch the wheel work, you watch for the catch. Not the quickest time, but it could be that banker time. It could be enough to improve. Oh, so much understeer.
I was going to say that just did not want to grip up. That front end just doesn't have the muscle in the tyre at the moment. It just doesn't want to make those corners. So we'll have to see. He's gotten through.
Interesting,
through the trouble.
It's interesting when these guys come out and practice. They're on new tyres, new cars, everything like that, and they can set blistering laps. But yet they come out in the shootout. Conditions change slightly.
Well, he's going to settle lap. He's going to finish the lap. That's brilliant. So well done already as he sets the lap and goes 125.81. So as he jumps there, that's brilliant.
Yeah, P1 Ray, first driver to set a lap, but it didn't look necessarily smooth sailing. Took us through it, mate.
Definitely not fun, Randy.
That's what we've seen a lot from the first 4 drivers, mate. They all sort of pushed a little bit hard there. But how are you feeling for the race?
I think it's just going to be a case of survival, and that's basically what I'm just going to try and do.
And it seems like you guys were setting some pretty good laps in practice and the open qualifying. What do you think's making it so hard for these drivers to set a lap time in the top 10?
I think it's just a case of the X limit points are, how do I say, a bit invisible in some cases, so you end up getting, not forcing yourself into a corner cut, you end up going for a corner cut, and next thing you know, you're 1X it and you're screwed.
Yeah, right, fair enough, mate. Alrighty, we'll pop you back up. Best of luck for the race.
Cheers, Wes.
Alrighty, so we jump on now. Bradley Wall, Team SRW for his outlap. In the Warren and Brown Tools Mustang. Interesting, having the drivers seen what's been going on. There's no aggressive zigzagging. There's no, overly deliberate tyre warming. The run down now through Clearways and up the Brabham Straight. Oh, he gets a bit loose there. Coming up over the crest. Gets his speed going down into turn 1, hits the braking zone. Clean through 1. Watch the wheel work. Watch for the wheel in the bottom right hand corner of your screen. The track is proving to be very slippery, very difficult. See the car drifting out there using all the road. Oh, he had a bit of a catch on the exit of Cooper's.
There's a lot of wheel work, there's a lot of corrections here, isn't it, Brendo?
Yeah, he's really forcing the car through. Certainly not the smoothest of laps. The cars look to be really understeery on this top 10 shootout. The run up through to Hawthorn. Probably the cleanest we've seen it taken so far. Uses the ripple strip, but that was alright. Down into Sterling. Yeah, he's putting together a nice lap. He's only got the one purple sector, but I think he's going to have enough in there to take the podium or the provisional pole, because Ray's lap was far from clean. Had a couple of orange splits in there as well, so Bradley Wall goes purple in the final sector, and he will take pole position. 25.13, so he's gone 7/10 faster than Ray Oliver, so there's a big gap there for the next 5 or 6 cars.
In the box, mate. Talk us through your lap, that was a good one.
It was slidey, slippery, slidey. But yeah, I tried to push and didn't get too bad a timing, I don't think. I was off my best, but I'll take it.
Well, mate, it seems everybody's off their best at the moment for the top shootout. The track conditions don't seem to be ideal for the cars. As we jump on with Cowie now starting his lap. We'll just wish you the best of luck for the race, Brad, and we'll see where we finish up. But I would expect to see you up there pretty high because this track conditions proving tough.
Yeah, oh, that's the aim. Thanks, guys.
Catch you later, mate.
Have a good one.
Yeah. Alrighty, so we jump on with Cowie. He's purple through sector 1. Feeds it out of turn 3 nice and cleanly as well. So Cowie, you know, we sort of talked to him before the intermission. It's that fine line between push and throw it away. And having seen what's happened in front of him, he'll know that he needs to set a good lap in.
Oh, 100%.
And if he can beat his personal best, he's going to be in a pretty good shot to gain a position here. Anything could happen. He certainly looks the most comfortable on the track.
I was going to say, he's looking very comfortable, so he must have done some work on those tyres on the outlap just to get him sort of in and where he's comfortable, so he's looking really
even that, like
yeah.
he took a couple of turns into the apex, but he got through there so cleanly.
That's 3 purples and a green too, so he's on it. Does that leave anything out there?
No, he's certainly flying through the last corner now. Gets a little bit of a catch halfway through. Hasn't cost him too much. Green split there, purple. He'll come across, and that will no doubt jump him to the top.
With a 24.74, that's the pace of practice. We'll drag in Mr. Cowie. Good lap. Take us through it, mate.
Yeah, look, the car stuck really good. The boys were talking that it was only like 5% grip for the session, so I was a little bit apprehensive. So on the out lap, I sort of pushed a little bit harder in a couple of places just to see where I had grip. So, yeah, and it was still there. And I think the only corner I really was a bit cautious on was the last big cut. And so I gave up a tenth or two there. But other than that, it was a really good lap.
Yeah, we saw that last corner was a bit of a catch moment there for you, but of all the drivers we've seen so far, we made the comment that your car certainly looked like it belonged on the track. The rest of them more so comfortable in the grass, mate. We'll wish you the best of luck in the race as we jump on board now with Tim Nicol starting his top 10 shootout lap.
We've definitely seen Cowie drop the hammer on the boys here with the 24.74, so we'll have to see if Tim can respond and if he's got the same sort of grip under that car.
Yeah, already you see there through the slower corner, the car looks to be giving out into the back end.
Just a little oversteer, yeah, so just a little oversteery on that exit.
Bit of difference in setup, but he's managed to get the purple.
He's
even on the turn, and you can see he's taking 2 or 3 attempts. Bit of a catch on exit.
to keep a track on these splits and see where he ends up in these sectors. That's another green. It's looking really good for him so far. But this is where the trouble's been, all in this sector right here. He's through there.
He turned in super early just to be safe. Uses all the curb there. Yeah, this is looking really good. Sticking to the last corner now.
Beautiful run through there. Has got another green box there in sector 3. 4's another green. Will this be enough to put him to the top? Tim Nickel
uses a lot of curb.
And puts 24.9. Oh, absolutely kidding.
Damn. Mate, 24.9, second place, mate. Talk us through your lap. It looked fairly committed.
Yeah, it was good. I was sort of in the debrief room with the boys, and we just made a note that the track looked pretty slippery with a few cars coming off the track. So I just dropped the bars and a bit tentative. Thought I got some heat in the tyres, but just probably didn't quite give it enough. Just been a little bit too hesitant. But anyway, it's better than running an off track.
Yeah, definitely, mate. It's certainly been an interesting shootout. The track conditions have not been favourable. Best of luck in the race, mate.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you. Should be good fun. Hopefully I put enough fuel in it this time.
That always helps, mate. All right, I'll pop you back up. Alrighty, so we jump on board Brock Modestead, the second place qualifier, running in the top 10 shootout now. Will we see another 124?
I was going to say, only 4 guys to finish a lap, so we'll have to see if he can match his practice, or his actually quality time to get in, because if he does that, he'll definitely jump to the top. So, oh, just a little loose there, isn't he? Purple sector in 2, though.
Yeah, I think that was the first 24 we saw out of Cowie as well. I don't know if he was in the 24s. I think he was in that borderline sort of 25 mark.
Yeah, I think he was. I don't think he quite made the 24s, so I mean...
Orange for Brock Modestead in the third split, so that's not an ideal sector for him. Obviously, though, we saw he was dominating sector 2 through qualifying. He had the pace through there. So I wouldn't be too phased by that orange, especially if he can make it back up with another green there. Good run through the second to last corner. Carries a lot of speed up into 4th, up into 5th very quickly.
Oh, purple again. Got it right at the right time of the lap too, right at the back end. What's this going to do?
This could be very close.
Brings it over.
100% over the line.
Goes P3.
Third. P3.
Oh.
Brock Modestead missing out on a position there already. 1 car left to run.
In. Brock
mate, P3.
Went wide in one of those 4, I think. And yeah, I think I definitely lost 2 tenths there, so it was a good lap other than that.
Yeah, definitely, mate. Disappointing to lose out 1 position on the qualifying, no doubt, or maybe even more with 1 car left to run. Mate, new livery on the car, new team this week. Any sort of quick comments on that one?
As far as I'm aware, I've been running this livery all year, so...
Oh, wait, have I got the wrong driver? Who's... Oh, no,
Dylan
sorry,
Gray
wrong
moved
driver. Dylan Gray moved. Sorry, mate, I had my notes ready, but I've jumped the gun.
No, all good. It's a long race, so... Yeah, we just try and latch onto the front guys and maybe save a bit of fuel.
Rightio, mate. Best of luck for the race.
Cheers.
Well, that was a bit embarrassing, wasn't it? Jump off board with Dylan Gray, who has changed livery and who has changed teams.
He has, he sure has. So he's got double greens, so it's a good start, steady. What he needs to do, just... I saw him doing some pre-tyre warming in that outlap, so definitely something's going on. There's definitely been a little bit of chatter in there. The first few guys that went out maybe didn't quite prep the tyre up as much as they thought they needed to.
Purple through sector 3. Good line through there up the hill. Again, a bit cautious there. Coming down the dip. Oh, a bit of a catch.
It's green again. Jeez, all that curb. Little correction on the wheel there. Goes here. Runs it up. Beautiful. Nice slide. Just got a hold of it. another purple.
Yeah, this is looking pretty promising. 3 greens,
Looking
personal
good.
best for Dylan, given that he was top of practice.
And
Orange through the end.
And he does.
It's good
go to
enough for
pole
Bolt.
by 3,000ths of a second.
0.03. so
Let's
close.
get him in here. Dylan Gray.
Dylan Gray, mate.
3,000.
bit of a mistake. Bit of a mistake in that last sector, but you got the pole.
I think I backed off a bit too much with the third gear corner coming up to third last corner. I backed up, hit my braking marker too early. I went, oh yeah, brake early, I'll be fine. Nope, I was pushing it for the last bit of that one, trying to get pole. But
that was a good lap,
time
mate.
to focus on the race.
Yeah, definitely, mate. All right. Now, I tried to suggest that Brock changed teams, but it was in fact you that's had a team change this week, mate. Do you want to make any comments on that one?
I think it was because of my drive on Sunday from the second race. I drove from pretty much back of the field back to top 10, and second in the class. And then Jet Murray said, "Would you like to join the team after the race?" And I said, "Sure, why not?" So since Sunday, I've been part of the crew and that. So hopefully I can get a win for them tonight, which will be good for them.
Most importantly, win for yourself, mate.
Yeah, win for yourself, mate. Well, big opportunities to come, no doubt, mate. Congratulations on the new signing, and best of luck for the race ahead.
Cheers.
Alrighty, well, that's the top 10 shootout. Dylan Gray, Andrew Cowan, Tim Nicol, Brock Mottershead, Brad Wall, and Ray Oliver. The 6 drivers to complete lap times. The rest of them aren't actually in order at the moment on the timing screen. That's an unusual one. But we will be going into a 10-15 minute intermission while they set the grids for the feature race. It's an 80-minute feature race here at Brands Hatch GP. Brendan and Rob for now signing out, and we'll be back with you shortly. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back as we see Ray Oliver there off in the sand. Driver's just completing a 15-minute warm-up session. I believe we'll advance the session on a little bit once we're back up and ready to go. The driver was just going out there the last little practice. We saw Tyson out there before in the promo department safety car as well. Just take this opportunity to thank all our series sponsors, Toyo Sim, Racecraft, Dragon RC, Warren and Brown Tools, and Grim Industries. Massive thanks to all you guys. Without you guys, we wouldn't have any racing here, as we see Bradley Wall having a bit of a moment there on the exit of the corner. Peter Pavlovic out on track, getting the last minute practice in as well. Very interesting top 10 shootout we had. Only 5 cars rather, completing the lap. And I am joined back once again by Rob up in the production and comms. Rob, exciting race ahead.
Oh, mate, what a shootout. And now the fun really begins to get the boys warming up out here for their race tonight, the Enduro, and again we see boys just sliding off all over the place. So look, if quali and the shootouts are going to go off, like we heard through the summer drive, it's a battle to survive out there at the moment. So I don't know, man. I'm expecting to see a little bit of a mix up there.
Yeah, and I think we saw, consistency is going to be the key around here. Those little unforced errors are going to be what makes and breaks drivers' races, I think. Obviously, the fuel game's going to come into it. We have a 45% fuel cap on these cars, which should mean that, they're going to need at least one pit stop, if not two, providing the safety car, makes an appearance, which, given some of the incidents we've seen just in practice here with guys going off into the sand and hitting the tyres, I'm going to say we've probably got like a 65 to 70% chance of a safety car tonight, based on Brendan's big calculator.
But we didn't see anyone actually crash to a point that couldn't drive it back to pit lane.
No, but I think it's a bit different in a race situation when you're fighting for position rather than chasing the lap time. Guys are going to go for gaps a little bit more. They're not going to... Hey, there we go. Cowie dings one off through the sand. Yeah, I think it's a bit different when you're sort of trying to fight for position rather than chasing a lap time. You chase a lap time, you don't really care too much. You just send it into the wall at full speed and you tow back to the pits. In the race, it's a different situation. You're driving a bit harder, a bit more on the edge, and very easy to end up in the wall. As I see Brad Mays off the track as well. That's down the bottom out of turn 3. Very slippery track.
It's just part of that battle to survive, isn't it? That's what we're talking about.
Hey, Pavlovic getting turn 1 wrong.
And there would be a safety car right there.
That would be a safety car.
That's quite the disaster.
Get that from a different angle coming down the hill. Alrighty, so Brett Taylor through the dip. Followed by Cowie on track. These guys are running in a pretty similar position, I think, on the grid. Mention Wills, he'll be starting from the back of the grid. No, sorry, I'm thinking of Clement, never mind. Leave McClement starting from the back of the grid, sorry. Still another 5 minutes left in this warm-up session. Dylan Gray already going just off his qualifying time with a 24.8. Of course, the pole time was a 24.71.
Yeah, he's definitely quick. Like, it was quick all through practice. It was quick all through quali. Oh, as we...
big moment from Leif.
Big slide there.
We thought these track conditions... Jamie Dyke just tops the timing chart, but of course he is in the promo department safety car.
But we got Dyke here. Let me do. Let's jump on board and just have a bit of a squeeze there. Now, the difference between a V8 Supercar, folks, and this safety car. One, that thing's got traction control and ABS. So there's a massive advantage for
mate. Pole position there in the promo department safety car. Congratulations, mate.
Thank you. How are you boys doing?
Yeah, no, good, mate. We're just a bit shocked when we saw your name go to the top of the charts. You bit of a cheat there. We were just explaining the difference between ABS, traction control, and a whole lot more downforce.
Yep, that's it.
We were probably expecting like a 19 out of you, though. Sort of a 24 flat's a bit dismal, really. You could go a bit quicker than that, surely.
Hang on, baseline, mate. You've got to give me some credit.
Here we go. Here's the excuses from the safety car.
Here comes the excuses. Jesus.
Get him out of here, chat. Get him out. Get him onto something. It's good having a bit of fun out there, Jamie, I take it?
Yep. Oi! That's fancy.
Oh.
Yeah, that's not how to do it.
Just as we flicked over, we see the safety car driver put it in the fence.
I hope Tyson's not watching this.
Can you really class yourself as a safety car driver if you haven't crashed a safety car?
Oh, it's a rite of passage, I think.
Hey,
I haven't done in a race session yet.
I blew the safety car up the other night. Don't even ask. Don't even ask.
Oh, well, we'll have to clip that one, Jamie, into the highlights reel.
Go for it.
Definitely.
I'm a supercar driver, not a GT driver.
If Steven Sinkovich is around, we need that on the Channel 31 review show. How not to drive the safety car at Brands Hatch.
Alrighty, mate. Well, we'll chuck you back up into the RC room. Have a good one tonight, mate.
You too. Have a good one, boys.
RC. Alrighty, Jamie Dyke up there in RC with Greg Barber tonight. Jamie driving the safety car. Greg Barber making most of the decisions, I would say. Wee bit loose there from Brock, and he's lost it.
Bang. Oh, you see, and
that's big contact.
That's very heavy contact, isn't it?
Yeah, especially if another car's coming through behind him. That's sort of where the safety car comes into play. So they have called the checkered flag on this session. Couple of minutes early, so we're not too far away from the race start.
We'll jump up with the grid, bring it up into our pole position. Young Dylan Gray from LMR Esports. MP2, Mr. Andrew Cowan from Performance Sim Racing, very own Cowie. We go back to Tim Nicol in P3, Brock Motorhead in 4, Bradley Wall in 5, Ray Oliver in 6, Daniel Schultz in 7, Linton Wills in 8, Peter Pavlovich in 9, Cullen Hodgkinson back there in 10. Those boys didn't get a lap time done in quali. Brett Taylor in 11 and Steven Sinkovich in 12. As we go over the page, Brendo, Shane Nicol 13, Brad Mays 14, Leith McClement out of 15, and then our race control boys there at the back of the grid.
Alrighty, so we're just waiting on one more car to grid up. Looks like Cullen Hodgkinson there, just gridding up back there in 10th position.
Lights are there.
Alrighty, so the lights are up. Countdown is on. We're waiting for Barney to drop the green flag. And we are racing. Bit of wheel spin off the start. Terrible start there from the third row. That was Bradley Wall with the Warren and Brown Tools Mustang.
Some Andrew
Good run there from
racking.
And Bradley Wall around, and it looks like he's picked up someone in the. Oh, no one got him.
No one got him. That's interesting.
Great start from Cowie though. That was phenomenal. Looked like both of them had a bit of wheel spin off the start, but Cowie got the run down into one. And he leads Dylan Gray through the first couple of corners.
This is going to
be already looking like. Well, already it looks like both of them are starting to pull away from the field a little bit too. Brock Modesty just not quite got the pace to catch up. Dylan Gray trying to find some toe, running an outside line, pokes his nose up the inside. No, thinks better of it on cold tyres.
It might come down to who's got a few more currents to hang on to this thing, mate, on cold tyres. You know, we saw in quali they were a little bit loose, and looking now, to be cold tyres, everything will be like run back in a like lower temps. So trying to just get everything back around again. We see the cars sliding and moving. You know, just whoever can get a grip on it on the early start out.
Yeah, it seems to be. I mean, I'm not too sure with the 45% fuel cap. With this is a one-stop race road 2, and they're 3 wide going through the last corner.
And that's Dylan Gray out in the grass.
And that's Dylan Gray out on the grass. So that'll definitely be called into race control because it looked like there was a bit of a bump there. Not quite sure who the cause of that was. See if we can pull up the replay for that one. But Brock Modesty gets the free position into second. So we pull up the SAW replay. You see them 3 wide there. Cowie in the middle. Oh, he does move up on him.
Oh, that'll be one for race control to check out.
That's very, very interesting.
We'll have to keep our eyes on that one, folks, as that unfolds. But as we right on board with Brock Morrishead here, as we looking at the back of Andrew Cowan, who's just involved in that little bingle there, and he's got a nice exit. Look at that for Brock. He's got the
run for Modesthead.
He's got the runner in the outside.
I think race control will be looking at the little telemetries there whether Brock actually forced Cowie up and that resulted in Cowie pushing, or whether it was just a change of line. And that's great racing from Brock and Cowie. Cowie's hanging on. He's trying to hold that inside line.
It's not going to work. That's just slow. That brings Daniel Schultz.
Yeah, Daniel
right
Schultz up the inside there. I think Cowie had to back out a little bit there. There was contact pending. But Dylan Schultz right up on the inside. He was trying to make that move work. Not quite able to. Tim Nickel, Ray Oliver sitting behind in 4th and 5th. Pavlovic in behind in 6th. Dylan Gray rejoined the track in 7th.
Get a view from
great view on board there from Ray Oliver.
Looks like Brock's just made a bit of a gap there now on Cowie. Just stretched the tyres a little bit. Got out there, so...
Sets the quickest lap of the race early on, 26.1. So it's early benchmark on what I'm guessing will be a full tank of fuel. Or a maximum amount of fuel allowed for the race, I should say. So drivers just starting to settle in, forming a bit of a train here, looking for a bit of a line as Ray has a bit of a catch there on the exit of Surtees.
Bit of a gap there to Dylan Gray, so we know how fast Dylan is though, so he'll definitely be trying to push back onto this front little pack here and try and get back inside that 5. And Ray's just got a nice run through there on Tim Nickel.
Yeah, a bit of an awkward spot on the track to make a pass though.
Very single lineup here, isn't it, Brendo?
Yeah, through those sort of through the dips and curves. You sort of want to try and get your run out of this corner and try and make something stick into the last corner. You can get too wide on the straight and you can hold the inside line advantage through the last corner and up into the straight.
And there's Dylan Gray right on the back of Ray Oliver now, so we see...
Yeah, just like this, making that toe work. Dylan Gray, quickest lap of the race there, 25.2, so already starting to show blistering pace. And you see that toe really working, sets up a late guide up the inside. Yeah, Ray not really going to fight him too much, gives him all the space in the world.
Like we heard from Ray, it's a battle of survival out there tonight, so if you're not quite on the pace, you're going to be struggling from what we see. But now as we see Daniel Schultz and Tim Nickel just coming together and getting close there. But young Dylan Gray's going to jump on the back of this really quickly. He's going to see Brock getting away, and he's not going to want that. He's going to want to get to the back of that little pack and get through this as quick as he can after that one incident.
Yeah, definitely Brad Mays into the pit lane as well. Currently a 39-second stop, so I was told this week that it's about 39 seconds for fuel and tyres, but I'm guessing that's going to be a damage stop. Just reconfirm that information actually.
As we see Dylan Gray getting the back of Tim Nickel, just trying to set him up, change the line, just trying to get in the back of Tim Nichols' mirrors, just trying to get him to think about where he's going and his next move. So it's just trying to unsettle Tim there. It's all part and parcel with the racecraft and how you play the games. Drive through for car 101 for jump start. 101, what was that?
That was Brad Mays.
That's
so
probably that pit stop then. That drive through.
no, well he stopped.
Did he stop?
He has a pit time, so I'm wondering he may have actually sped on the pits because he was stopped for 40 seconds, so it could have been a stop and hold, as well as a drive through. Incident involving cars 28, 991 and 6, final corner lap 1. Race control has deemed that a no further action.
Alright, so it's race on, boys. So we see Dylan Gray, he's pushed straight through. He's gotten through Tim Nichols. Tim Nichols had a bit of Dylan Gray and Ray over past Tim Nichols there. So Ray's just getting a little bit more comfortable now in the car, which is quite interesting. Brock's just had a bit of an off track there as well, so that might cause him a bit of grief, but he's still there. Andrew Cowan in P2. Jump on board there with Daniel Schultz and have a look out the back and see just what Dylan Gray's doing. He's all over the back of him, isn't he? Look at that. Making him guess where he's coming, like what's he going to chuck at me? Looks like Dylan Gray's going to go around outside.
He's going to try and hold the outside line. Probably set up a bit of a crisscross coming down to the hairpin here. Uses all the slipstream into the dip. He's going to try the outside. It's not really a place where you see too many passes made. Leaves himself vulnerable to Ray Oliver behind. You see Ray's just trying to get a run. Let's just bump the mute button with the elbow.
Oh. Around the outside again. Oh, looks like there was a little bit of contact there.
Oh.
And the boys are
and
just
that
getting
wasn't a very
rough.
good exit.
The boys are just getting a little bit rough out there. It's early on, boys. Settle in.
Yeah, Daniel just sort of holding. Daniel's just holding the inside line. He's making Dylan Gray do all the work. And yeah, as you mentioned before, Ray Oliver saying it's a long race. Just sort of take your opportunities as they come. Dylan just trying to be the aggressor early on. Not quite working out for him in that exchange. Linton Wills back in 9th position now, sitting sort of in the middle of a train here for 8th position. Pavlovic makes the mistake.
I was just watching that. Yeah, he just skewed off.
That's 4 positions down for Pavlovic.
Yeah, he's got 4. Leaf McClellan up 8, and Daniel Schultz up 4.
Yeah, great start for Daniel Schultz. Brock Modset up 3 as well, so pretty good drive for him.
Oh, Ray looking real racy up the inside. He's going to get it done. He's going to hold him out here.
Yeah, and Dylan Gray on the inside as well. He's going to make the move up to the hairpin.
So Ray's going to take...
He's put Daniel Schultz up the outside.
That's going to bring...
And Nichols going to have a crack as well.
That's
he
that
thought about it.
So we know Ray Oliver isn't the most comfortable in these cars. He's not as comfortable he was in some of the other cars he was racing. So to see him put a move on like that definitely shows that he's getting a little bit more faith in the car and what he can do with it. So see Dylan Gray is just pestering the back of that car. He's all over it. He's just annoying the back of Ray. But I highly doubt the boys will have a frown on their face. They'll definitely be smiling and having a great time out there with the battles. They love clean, hard racing, and it's great for the show.
Oh yeah, 100%. Dylan Gray just trying to run those alternate lines through the top of the track there, and we've already mentioned a couple of times, it's not really the best passing opportunities. He lost himself a little bit of time there across the top through Hawthorne, just trying to run that inside line. If he can... He really just wants to get into the toe here, coming up the main straight, set himself up into the hairpin, as we saw them do the last lap over Schultz. Tucks in nice and tight, just doesn't quite hold on to it. He's in the sand. That'll be an off track.
Actually, it didn't flash up in SDK. It didn't show it as an off track, so he might have just got away with that.
Might have just got away with that.
I tell you what, you wouldn't want to be pushing your luck there, though. That's definitely not one of the favoured passing opportunities there. So we see now they're getting back to the back of Cowie. So Cowie's just either falling back or these boys are definitely pressing on. But Brock Mott's head out there with a 3-second gap to Ray Oliver. And
I mean,
2.4,
yeah.
so he's out there by himself.
Ray and Dylan probably had a little bit quicker laps than Cowie last time round. They're both in the 25s. Brock and Cowie running in the sort of low to mid 26s. But as far as best lap is concerned, which I'm guessing most of them would have done the lap previous, that's definitely an off track there.
Dylan Gray's definitely pushing very hard.
And they were too wide back there through Sterling. I'm not quite sure who that was in the background.
As well, probably around the same area.
Oh, that could have been that too wide we saw in the background. Yeah, Peter Pavlovic ending up off the end of Sterling. So it's not been the greatest of starts for Peter Pavlovic. Needs to just get his head down and find some rhythm.
As we jump on
he finds himself down in 12th. Bradley Wall now in 9th, putting some pressure onto Linton Wills. Of course, we saw Brad have that bit of a shocker at the start, so he's on a bit of a recovery drive already.
Just see what Brad's onboard looks like. You see if he's got many corrections or if he's sliding, what he's doing. Looks like he's pretty stable through
that was wide.
Wide, but he looks...
Oh, I mean Linton in front, rather.
Nice and
Ran a very wide line. Yeah, you can see the time he's making up there. Linton just sort of dropped momentum through those last couple of corners, and it's just allowed Bradley to catch right up. Again, not really a passing opportunity here. You just sort of line the car up, set up something into Sterling or up around the home straight.
He was looking, wasn't he? Oh, how's the shake on Linton? Oh, that was massive blows at the rear. He's gone.
Yeah, Linton's run it wide. It's a free position.
Bradley, that's awesome.
It's just that pressure applied, the unforced error. We've talked about it already. Very easily done.
That puts Linton back behind these two boys here, Shane Nicol and Brett Taylor. Getting right up there and pushing on. Teammates here as they try and now get after Bradley Wall. As Bradley Wall sets off after Tim Nicol, so there's a nice healthy gap there between Bradley Wall and Tim Nicol, about 5 seconds, just under 5 seconds. He'll try and catch that back up.
Yeah, the two Valve Motorsport cars. We've seen some teammates running in the Tuesday nights. We've had a couple of juice cars in here. Ray's had his teammate O'Loughlin run in this series as well. Pavlovic's had his teammate, whose name currently eludes me, Steve Martin, is that right? Yeah, running as well in the Tuesday nights. So we have seen the team game play out here, and we've seen the teammates work together. Obviously, they jump in Discord. Then obviously we've got the Team SIW boys, and Cowie's made a mistake there. Fighting very hard on the inside. He just doesn't have the momentum.
Dylan's going to bump draft Ray Oliver here.
Oh, and that's a 100 IQ moment there from Dylan Gray. Gets straight on the back of Ray. He knows he's got the momentum. Gives him a little bump draft, and they'll both get past. And Nichols had a spin.
Oh, that's massive. Oh, no,
that's
don't do that.
Big
don't
spin,
do that.
and that's gonna,
no.
That is going to be very close to probably having a drive-through penalty.
We'll chuck back a replay with that and
have a look, see what he's done.
I bet you he's just come out of here and just top that grass on the exit.
So that's...
As he touched the grass?
Where is he?
No, he's just unloaded the rear.
No, that's up at...
that's grass. Yeah, around it goes right there. And what happened here? How did he end up in the wall? Oh, no, he hasn't... Oh,
no, he's had a punt.
That was 842 Linton Wills. So, I think there might be
just roll that. Just roll that back a little.
Bring that back up. Sorry.
Because there's been that initial incident, and then obviously the first thing race control are going to look at is did he hold the brakes, and what's caused. Did Linton have any opportunity to miss him whatsoever?
So brakes are on.
So he's on the brakes.
On him, holding,
On,
oh,
off.
Oh. That
could be
get
very
interesting.
touch and go. Obviously, it's a bit of a difficult corner there because you come around that apex blind. You're not really going to see the car there. Obviously, you'll know he's gone off. You'll see it come up on the yellow flags, but very interesting. So again, race control are going to have something to look at there. That's not just a clear-cut decision. The brake lights definitely came off, but it's going to need to be looked at quite intensely. There's been no safety car called, so racing does continue.
Yeah, I think he was limping back around to your pits. I don't think he was actually out. So.
Yeah, I would say both of them have managed to find their way around. I haven't seen him pit yet though. Linton Wills has been through the pit lane.
Oh, that looks like, if I just heard that on the comms, it looks like 925 and not holding brakes. That's another drive-through issue. Interesting. The battle of survival is literally a battle of survival right now, Brenda. And we're only 17 minutes into the night.
10 minutes in and there's been plenty of action already. Couple of, two drive-throughs. One for a jump start and then, not holding the brakes there as we saw. We had that little suspicion that the car moved. We went back and unpacked it and sure enough, race control have seen it as well. Unfortunate for Linton there, even though he was running down the back, he probably wasn't quite expecting a Valve Motorsport car to be parked across the track.
Oh, that's Tim Nicol in front getting very loose, right in front of Leif McClyman here. And he's just got to pester away. He's just got to sit there now. Leif's just got to watch him. Leif doesn't need to press on and make any moves. He's just got to sit there and watch him because you can see he's loose. The rear of the car's stepping sideways. He's just got to pick his moment, Brendo. He's just got to take the... Oh, no!
Oh,
we safe?
He's gone for a drift into the corner. He's done very well to save that. That's incredible, actually. These aren't the easiest cars to save. He's done very well to save that. So Shane Nicol into the pit lane. I think that may have been...
That might be the drive-through that he just...
That may have been the drive-through. Because he hasn't actually stopped, so it doesn't look like he's taken his fast repair. We might have to cut to his car to have a good look, but he hasn't.
So if it was just a drive-through, he'll just drive straight in and out, won't he? There'll be no stopping.
Yeah, so it won't come up on the timing screen as a pit stop completed, but we did see the little pit icon pop up briefly. So he has transited the lane. Be interesting to see if he chooses to pit where his sort of damage is. Obviously he's going to be off the pace, but if the car's not misbehaving too badly, he might opt to continue for a little bit. So we have Dylan Gray at the moment on the back of Ray Oliver.
Look at this gap that's come down now. Ray Oliver and Dylan Gray really putting in the lap times. Brock Monastead there just not... doesn't seem to have the pace. Like these boys are putting in some really quick lap times and he just can't respond.
Yeah, their best laps are pretty similar, but if you look at the last couple of the laps, Brock Monastead just off the pace a little. He's running about 5 tenths slower over the last couple of laps, and these boys have closed that gap in. So what was sort of up around 3.5 seconds is now down to 2.7 seconds. Ray Oliver behind Monastead, and Dylan and Ray, they're kind of working together a little bit. They're not fighting too much. They're trying to push.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you want that kind of thing. You want to have that ally on the track, don't you? You don't want to have that competition if you get away with it, because they both know they're capable, they're fast, and just use that and get forward. So we have to see if they can get on the back of Brock here and what they can do. But, see Brad Wall now is just starting to edge back closer to Daniel Schultz, and it's Tim Nicol peeled off into the pit.
Yeah, that's an interesting decision there from Tim. Not quite sure what's going on there. We haven't had anything come through from race control in regards to a penalty. Perhaps he's taken some of his own damage, but...
Yeah, quite possibly. There'll be two SRW boys right there. Brendon Walton, Daniel Schultz. Those boys are getting on with it now and trying to keep a nice clean race. As we jump on board, Talon, who's just gone off track right as we switched over. Hasn't had the best of nights, has he, Talon Hodgkinson tonight, Brendan?
No, he's certainly not performed at his best. We've seen some pretty good performances out of Cal over the last few weeks, you know, across the different leagues. But it seems that the V8 Supercar just seems to be, as he locks up again, seems to just be his, what's the word I'm looking for?
His nemesis, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's not the turn of phrase I was thinking of, but that'll do. You know, he's just been struggling in the V8 Supercar a little bit, and really uncharacteristic for him.
Oh, you see he's wide again. He's just, keep up
Yeah,
he's not comfortable, is he? He's just not comfortable.
He's not comfortable, and the problem is something like this is when you don't have that rhythm, you don't have the momentum, you've kind of just got to be able to mentally reset and start again, and that can be very hard to do when you start stringing together a couple of bad corners. You kind of get a bit nervous, you second guess yourself, and by that time it's too late. You've missed the apex and you're in the grass, and I think that's what we just saw there. Steven Sinkovic currently running in the top 10. He's done quite well out of some other drivers' misfortunes. So we have
cars in pit lane too.
Yeah, so Leith Clement, Daniel Schultz, Bradley Wall, all into the pit lane. So
Dylan Gray also pitted as well.
Dylan Gray also. So perhaps some of these guys started with a bit less fuel. They're running an alternate strategy. We're not quite sure. Peter Pavlovic into the pit lane as well.
Pit lane time about 40 seconds, 41 seconds. So they're, you know, maybe fuel and tyres. I don't know. It's a bit of a weird one.
Yeah, stationary time about 21 seconds.
Look at this, all three SRW cars all a line of stern with each other now. We've got Bradley Wall, Steven Sinkovic and Daniel Schultz.
Yeah, very interesting moment there. Not very often you see these three boys together on track.
Actually, I thought you were about to say it's not very often you see Steven facing forwards, but okay.
Well, it's not very often we see Steven in the single figures as well, but you know, that was short. That was very short-lived as he finds his way back into 10th position. Daniel Schultz making sure he gets back in front, as does Bradley Wall. The pecking order has been...
Andrew Cow and Brett Taylor all gone in the pit, so... we must have missed something, Brendo. I don't know. 23 minutes in and the pit is already lit up, so... it's interesting. Like 15, 16? It's going to make for an interesting race, isn't it? For an hour 20 long, and we've still got an hour to go. It's going to make for an interesting combination of pit stops coming up.
Steven Sinkovic, Shane Nickel all into the pit lane as well. I tell you what we'll do is while he's transiting the pit lane, Steven, mate, while you're in the pit lane, we'll just drop you into the commentary booth for a second. Everybody's diving into the pits. Is this a fuel strategy, or is this just what the tanks can hold?
This is all the tanks can hold, mate. I think I've got one lap more than Brad and Dan, just because I'm crap and not as fast. But yeah, that's what the tanks. Tanks are holding 6.5 litres, 16.5 laps estimated. So there'll be one more pit stop.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, alrighty. I'll chuck you back into your Discord, mate.
No worries, man. Have fun, guys.
Cheers, mate. Alrighty, so you heard it there first. 16.5 laps on average for a tank of fuel. So we could even see some 3 stops here if fuel saving isn't coming into play. We're 25 minutes in. It was an 80-minute race, so yeah, I think a 3-stop is probably going to be the go. So it's going to be fuel saving to see who takes the least amount of fuel towards the end. So that's very interesting, that 45% fuel cap. I didn't quite expect them to be burning that much fuel.
Dylan Gray's just come out of the pits and gone and said, I want the fastest lap of the race, and chucks a 24.88 in race trim.
And, well, yeah, you compare that to Brock Modested's last lap of a 28.3 and Ray Oliver's 29.4. He's a whole 5 seconds faster. So that was a massive statement from Dylan Gray coming out of the pit lane.
Yeah, it's something you want to be wary of if you're looking at competitors and what they're doing around you. We do see that Brock went 1 lap later in the pits. That could explain the lap time. So I have to see
that'll definitely explain
the next lap.
Yeah, it'll definitely explain the lap time. There was some time to be gained, but he's gained that time on their out lap. So he's done very well to gain track position. And the other one who we're just looking at on screen now, Tim Nichols actually jumped Cowie in the pit lane. Tim Nichols has completed the undercut. He pitted lap 14. Cowie went into 16. Sorry, Cowie went in on lap 16. And Tim Nichols given him the undercut. Brock Modested 25.09 that last lap. Dylan Gray 25.02. So very, very close lap times from those two.
Oh, it's crazy. I mean, the boys are pressing on now. Like in this stretch now, they're probably comfortable. They're in the groove. They know where they need to be. They're just driving to a number now, I think. Like you said, this could be a 3-stop. If you don't see a safety car, there probably isn't much room to save fuel. Because, if you just lift a little bit, you're going to get swallowed by somebody else, aren't you?
Well, yeah, quite right. At 25 minutes, I don't think a 2-stop is on the cards because, at worst, it's going to give you 50 minutes. You've still got another 30 minutes to go. And that final stop, you've kind of got 3 laps worth of fuel, roughly, to save, which is pretty tough asking if they're burning fuel this quickly around this track. So, a 3-stop minimum. I think we're almost begging for a safety car at this point because this could be very tight on the fuel game.
I think you're right, man. I think there's probably some drivers out there just hoping that someone in the back scenes here just does a big whoopsie as we...
Oi, there we go. Right on schedule.
Right on cue. Thank you, Linton Wills. But I think, someone's definitely up the front there who's just screaming, someone crash, because I need that safety car, because I think by now some of these guys have got spotters in their ear and they would have been doing these fuel numbers and just looking over it going, shit going to be tight, it's going to be close.
Yeah, it's certainly going to be interesting to see. Obviously, there's guys at the top, your Modesteds, your Greys, your Olivers. They are very well adapted to fuel saving in GT3 cars and the various other series that they run. Obviously, these big hungry V8s do use a little bit more fuel, but they'll have the techniques. They'll know how to clutch in, they'll know how to lift off and coast, and all those good things that we do to save as much fuel as we can. So it'll be very interesting to see, within sort of the next 40 minutes how that plays out once they've burnt through their next tank and they're looking at sort of whether they're going to go to the finish or whether they're going to splash and dash later on.
Yeah, exactly.
And Nichols sitting pretty good pace right now, 4th place.
He's running very quick. He's looking at the back of Ray Oliver there, so I dare say Ray's looking at the relative and just trying to respond to this and just, keep that margin, because you won't want to give up anything too easy, Ray. And we've seen Ray around the SIW the framework for a while, and he's definitely a fair competitor. He loves to rub elbows and get a bit bumpy and grindy, but that's what you want to see, isn't it? You want to see a bit of fierce battle out there.
Yeah, definitely. Cowie's found some rhythm after his pit stop too. He's just set his fastest lap of the race, 25.13. Brock Modested set his fastest lap of the race, 25.07. Ray Oliver's just set his fastest lap of the race, 25.10. So, quick times out on track right now. The battle is very real. These guys are pushing for margin hard. The gaps on track at the moment aren't so close. The closest gap on the field is Dylan Gray over to Brock Modested, first and second. That's about 1.6 seconds. Ray Oliver's 6 seconds further back, 7 seconds back to Tim Nicholl, 10 seconds back to Cowie, 16 back to Les Clement. So some really big gaps throughout the field there on the intervals.
It's a big spread tonight. You wouldn't think that this track would allow such a big spread, but with getting the faster guys and moving and bunching up and then slowly eking away, and then the little off tracks here and people slowing up there, as we see Dylan Gray just get very sideways, basically making sure those rear tyres are very warm. But yeah, you start to see the field spread out, and you get this little battle packs, you know, of guys around the same sort of pace. That's, you know, it kind of has the reminiscence of Chaz Moss and Cam Waters in the Supercar series, you know, just always around each other, always close and always there. So, you know, look, you're looking at these guys coming out of pit lane and setting their fastest lap times now, so they must be comfortable because they've just gotten full fuel on board, so they're heavier, but yet they're still setting faster laps than what they were in the early stage of the race. So I don't know if there's anything left in there
I do believe now that in the V8 Supercars, and I think with a couple of other cars as well, you actually do fuel and tyres at the same time. So these guys will be taking fuel, but they'll also be taking tyres because you basically get tyres for free. I did have some information a little bit earlier on in the week, and I've misplaced my note. Someone sent me a message and saying that I believe to get fuel and tyres, you're only looking at about a 20-second stop, which most of these guys are running. They're sort of running anywhere from sort of 19.9, I think was the fastest, up to like a 22, or a 24 there, I think was the slowest. That was Steven Sinkovich's pit stop. You know, so these guys are getting fuel and tyres now in under 30 seconds, so it's not really costing them that much. In the GT3s, they were sort of taking about sort of, you know, 38 to 45 seconds to pit, but of course they're running a lot more fuel in the GT3 Friday night series than what they are here on Tuesdays. So your quick pit stops, you know, quick tyre changes, even if they're just taking 2 tyres just to cover that gap. As we see, Ray Oliver's had a moment from 3rd place coming through the last corner. He's taken it off track. He's lost out to Cowie as well.
Might be very close to taking that away from Ray Oliver as well, so that's going to be a massive drop there for Ray, unless he can get back on it again and get running. But
yeah, I think by the time Ray regains his composure, Leith will be right on the back of him.
Absolutely. But as you were saying, I heard that iRacing had brought that in for the GT3s where they take fuel and tyres. I hadn't been confirmed through sources of my own whether that was the same with the supercars as well. So if that has been done, I mean, that's... Yeah, as you're saying, that's basically a free tyres.
Yeah, I know. I know one of our viewers sent me a message on my other Discord account, but that's my work laptop, and I haven't got that with me, so I can't access it. But yeah, they did say that you can do fuel and tyres, and I'm just guessing on what these times are in pit lane. I believe what their message was you can do fuel and tyres quite comfortably. It might cost you like an extra half a second to take tyres, but probably a worthwhile advantage, particularly at a track like this where we've already seen the grip levels have been so important tonight with the understeer and those little catch moments on the exit.
Yeah, 100%.
So another little off track there from Ray Oliver, and that's one of the lap traffic. So that's lap traffic, that's blue flags. I think that was Mays.
I think that might have been Brad Mays, yeah. So we're starting to see the boys now get through to the basically the back of the pack, and we're going to start coming up on some solo cars, I think. Now that can work both in Brock's favour and against Brock here, can't it, Brendo? Because you get caught up on a solo car, and the guy behind you gets a real sniff of making a pass, doesn't he?
Yeah, well, it all depends on where they catch them too, because obviously if you catch a car coming into this section of the track here like Dylan Gray has, you're going to be stuck behind them until at least the back end of the track. There's not really that many passing opportunities, and drivers trying to abide by blue flags here can get very messy very quickly. Whereas if you catch them sort of coming out the back of the section onto the home straight into the hairpin, you're probably going to have a better chance of getting past them quickly. You see that gap there indicated from Brock Wattis there back to Dylan Gray. It's about half a second, but there is a car. Oh no, there was a car in between them, not anymore.
No, that car disappeared very quick, didn't it? Just gone. We'll jump on board here with Brock, and we'll have a look at what he's doing and just see what his inputs are like and whether he's got a nice, stable car. It looks very racy after the qualifying session. It looks like he may have made a bit of a tweak to the setup and just gotten it back in the limit there, Brenda.
Yeah, well, he's got a bit of a view in the rear vision mirror now as Dylan gets into 3/10 of a second. I know certainly you talk about making those last minute changes. I did that myself on Thursday night in the 86s and it didn't work. I thought I wanted to make the car a little bit stiffer, and it resulted in it hanging like an oversteering go-kart drift thing, and spent more time up against the safety fences than what I did on the racetrack.
Oh, no.
But these guys know what they're doing, they know what changes to make, and it goes to show. Of course, they've got spotters and they've got teammates in their rear who are more experienced, perhaps. They'll have their setup guys in there, and they'll be telling them what changes to make.
Oh, 100%, yeah.
And of course, the other thing with the V8 Supercars too, which you don't really see so much in the likes of the 86s and the TCRs, etc., is you can adjust your anti-roll bar and you can change your brake bias in the car. I would go as far as to say that I doubt any of these guys would be doing it. But certainly on a Sunday night, our top guys, they'll be adjusting, mid-lap, mid-corner, trying to get the best out of the car in every single possible situation.
Oh, we see Dylan Gray now just getting really racy there. Really racy with lane. Oh, and there's been a call on the race com, so they're asking about moving under brakes. I don't think I saw that, but I know. What did you take of that, Brendon? Did you see any moving under brakes there?
Oh, if he did, it was very, very subtle. I certainly didn't catch it on a first glance. Obviously, very different when you're actually racing the car. You're sort of watching the guy in front and their brake lights. We watch Brock here. He's running quite a shallow defensive line.
That's going to make it very slow off the corner.
Feel it coming. It's going to make it very slow off the corner. He almost wants to catch that lap traffic and just sort of hedge his bets. That's Sinkovic. Is it Sinkovic or Pavlovic up in front?
I think that might be Sinkovic up there. He's coming up on the back of Stevens, so that could be... That is definitely Sinkovic, yep. 100%.
Yeah, you almost want to hedge your bets. You want to catch him, you want to try and get past him. Oi, and a big send from Dylan Gray. Really throws into the corner. If Brock can hang on sort of until, I don't know, turn 3.
Or
coming across the bottom of Cooper's, Stevens having a bit of a moment. But if Brock can get in front of Steven at the perfect time, it's going to put that one car between them, and then right through turns 6, 7, 8, 9, they're going to have that split. And it doesn't look like Brock's going to quite catch him in time.
Steven is one of those early breakers. He definitely breaks
Steven might just yield up the hill here.
He has.
Yeah, you see he's yielded. Where's he going to came into the corner? Oh, he gives him all the room.
Just give him room. I mean, that's a smart play. I mean, he could easily have tried to make that a little bit of a fight, but again, no real point. He just gets on with it and lets the boys go as we jump over to Cowie and see him about 10 seconds away from the back of that pack. So back in P3 though, so he's...
Yeah, well, he benefited quite well out of Ray's mistake. Leave Clement up 11 positions, obviously didn't set a lap time as such, didn't run the top 10, he finds himself in 4th position now. Tim Nicol was an interesting one, he was running sort of 4th, and he's made it a second pit stop on lap 25, and it was quite a long pit stop, so perhaps he's taken damage because it was a 56-second hold time. I don't know if there's anything in your replay library there from Nicol, but it was certainly an unexpected pit stop.
No, there's nothing really there.
Just interesting.
It says that he entered the pits and then he exited the pits, minute 17. So yeah, very interesting. It's a very long stop. Callum Hodgkinson just he's taken another stop as well now. So
he's up over 3 minutes. I wouldn't be surprised if he's had a crash. Just given the way his race has gone, he's not felt comfortable in that car at all tonight.
Yeah, nothing's showing though, so that's interesting. But that definitely would be a damage stop at that kind of rate. But again, hasn't had the best of nights. He just hasn't been in the groove. He hasn't been able to find the right window. Sadly, by the looks of that. Oh, was that? Oh, Ray!
Very early turn in Ray there.
I almost want to bring that back. Oh, I want to go back and have a look at that because that looked like he got very loose as we. What was just before that?
So early.
I don't think he turned in.
Oh, he's had it.
He's had the moment on the grass.
Nah, left the grass.
Oh, that was a good catch though. Credit where credit's due. That was a good catch. You know what I do love about these cars, Brendan?
What's that?
As we look into turn one, look at the rear rotors as they come off. I don't know if we'll get a good shot here, but oh, no, you won't get a good shot. But the rear rotors just so.
I know what you mean. They just light up.
Yeah, there it is. Look at that on Ray Older.
There you go.
Just beautiful. Look at that. I love that. Even on the actual supercars, I love seeing the brake rotors glowing red hot. It's something quite interesting to see the heat and how much they're using that brake in general just to get the car sort of stopped and turn. Oh, Ray's just a little loose as well coming out off that little double left-hander there.
Yeah, and the brake bias in the V8 Supercars do tend to be a little bit more weighted towards the rear. They do like to be, slowed down in a straight line, keep the balance of the car, turn in once it's slowed. Whereas again we mentioned sort of in the little warm-up there, the difference between the GT3 car. The GT3 car has a bit more downforce. It's got the traction, ABS, stability control, all those modern driving aids that just allow you to be a little bit more aggressive, so to speak, in your approach to driving the car. The V8 Supercar will definitely punish you when you get it wrong, but it can be very rewarding when you get it right.
There it is, right on camera there now. I'm just looking back at that suspension. Just see it just glow red hot. Just so good, isn't it? Like, you say about the braking balance of these cars, and I guess that's what makes them very tricky to drive too, is they don't brake like anything else on the server. They brake very, very differently, don't they? They just, something funky about them with the lack of aero, lack of mechanical grip, lack of everything, and they just don't respond to the brakes the same way as you would expect.
Yeah, definitely, and it's going to be so interesting, I think, now, with next gen coming in, what I've been calling like the GT4 era. The Camaro and the Mustang, they've got even less downforce, a bit more mechanical grip, but again, very big engines and very big cars, and it's going to be interesting to see because they'll end up in iRacing. It won't be too long, don't you worry about that. I just about guarantee they've already been scanned. Usually the Tickford car and the 888 car, or the DJR car, sorry. They'll be in here, that's for sure. It'll be very exciting to see when they do come in, just how they perform.
What do you think they got scanned the same time Puka Cowie got scanned, mate?
Oh, I would think so. I don't think the new cars were at Puka Cowie.
I'm not sure.
I don't.
Oh, here we go. Another round.
So Daniel Schultz. So this will be coming in for us. Ooh, yeah, that was a bit of a last-minute lock-up. So this will be a scheduled pit stop for Daniel Schultz.
So he's
be
pushing
going for
about
an
15 laps. Yeah, he's doing 15 lap stops. We'll jump back to the front here again. Just watching Dylan Gray and Brock Morshead go hammer and tongs at it again. This is on all night. I think someone's going to have to try the undercut. I think someone's got to make a move here, and strategically. I see Dylan Gray got 15 laps in the first stint. He's pushing on 15 laps now. Does he take a stop this lap? And does Brock Morshead follow him in? Or lead him in?
Given that Brock has probably 1 extra lap's worth of fuel, I think Brock's best to stay out, and he has done.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Dylan Gray 1 lap down on fuel from that first stint, so Brock can really make this count. Cowie will move up into second place here briefly if he doesn't pit.
Yeah, Cowie's
Cowie
skipped by the pit.
again has that extra lap of fuel.
So what's the difference there? Why are some getting 16 and some getting 15? Do you think it's just the use of the right foot, or do you think it's just a strategic play here just to try and come in a bit earlier and peel off those extra laps and save it rather than pushing to the full number.
Well, it could be either or. I think for the likes of Dylan, he's been driving a bit more aggressively, so probably a bit more right foot, hasn't quite managed the fuel as well. Someone like Cow, he's just kind of been running at a pace, so he'll get that extra lap.
Yeah, exactly. I tend to agree. With the aggression of the driving and the way the boys have been, I almost wonder if they know something that we're missing and they can pit earlier and get that extra lap so they don't have to stand still as long on that final stop, because we are 46 minutes in. There's lap 32. Pit stops are going to start rolling out for a lot of these guys at the 16 lap interval, so we'll have to see what they do.
Well, I mean, if my estimated math is correct, I think most of these guys are going to be at least 2 laps short. So at some stage, there's going to be a fuel savings period unless they kind of short fuel at this stop. They could possibly underfuel this stop and then fuel to the finish later on.
Ray Oliver's in. We catch up now with our second place guy, who's now coming around. This is going to be very tight. We'll jump on the nose of this car. Brock Mottershead and Andrew Cowan are still in. Brock's just coming out. He's just coming out. Dylan's got him. He's passed him, has he?
Currently past him to be on the rejoin.
He has. He's got him. He's made the pass. So now we'll see if the young gun who can get out there with the flying laps from Collie can just put in some laps. He might just be flat out to the finish, man. He might not be worried about pit strategy. It's just go and go hard now.
Well, there's still going to be one more pit stop at some stage, probably around that hour 10 mark, if they can drag it out that long. Because it'll be about 25 minutes. So yeah, about an hour 10 will be the next sort of pit window. But yeah, Dylan Gray with a bit of an opportunity to make a bit of time, but he also needs to be mindful that he probably wants to save a little bit of fuel, because if he can, the least he's got to put in at the end is going to help him out.
Yeah, exactly.
Later on when he's really going to need it.
Yeah, exactly right, Brendo, exactly right. As we see now, Ray Oliver back on the charge now after his second stop. Leith McClement went in at lap 29, so he's now up 11 spots in a P4. So again, that's strategic. I can't think of anything else why you'd go in 2 laps before everybody else. Or 3 laps, really, at that point.
Yeah, it's 3 laps. It's certainly interesting to see. It's certainly the alternate strategy. He seems to be the only one running the alternate strategy. Tim Nicol obviously went in super early, lap 25, so I'm thinking there's going to be a splash and dash there for Tim Nicol, but he currently is sitting down in 9th. But certainly not lacking the pace. Tim's been running up in the top 5 in the early stages, so we know he's got the potential to run at the front. We'll see if that alternate strategy for him works out. But yeah, Leith's strategy just a little bit different again, 4 laps later than Tim and 3 laps earlier than Ray and the rest of the field around him.
You're exactly right. So, this could very well be a grandstand finish here at the moment, because pit strategies could go either way.
And we've seen that a little bit in the last few weeks. The pit cycle has kind of opened up the field in ways where it becomes a little bit unexciting to watch on the broadcast. And all of a sudden, with 10 laps to go, we have the top 6 or 7 drivers within a second of each other, and we're just in for an absolute grandstand finish. Which, at the risk of making the bold assumption, is kind of looking like what we're in for tonight, because there's different little strategies at play, there's different timings at hand. All these guys have got potential to set blistering lap times. There's some guys just running conservative, there's some guys pushing. It's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out at the other end of the race.
Oh, for sure, and we haven't seen the safety car. But as you jump on board here with Ray Oliver, as he's looking at the back of Leith McClement, trying to get the move done, he's going to go up the inside. Ray's just going to go straight up the inside. That's beautiful pass. Because Leith try and fight back? He just sits back.
I don't think he's quite close
I don't
enough.
think he's there. No, he's just. Ray just got that pass done. That puts him back up into P4 now. As he's trying to hunt down Andrew Cowan.
Yeah, well, Ray pulled that gap off Leith pretty quickly as well, and Cowie now is what 5 seconds up the road.
Yeah, about 4.8 seconds.
4.9 seconds. Yeah, so.
Jump on
it's not too big of a margin for Ray. He'll certainly be looking to chase that down, probably over the next sort of. Wow, what are their last lap times? Ray did a 1:22.5, Cowie did a 1:25.8. So he's only 3/10 in it. They're pretty close. And Cowie will be watching those lap times. He knows that he can run sort of low to mid 25s. He's going to be pretty steady in the field.
Yeah, exactly right. Cowie will be just by this time. I think he'll just be waiting for that final pit stop to get to the last hurrah of the race, throw it in, and then basically see what he can do from the end there. But Brock, what I said here, it looks like he's not losing time, but he's not making time to Dylan Gray. So he's lost out on that pit stop. But I don't know. I don't know how this is going to work out for Dylan.
Well, it definitely seems like Dylan's taking the more aggressive approach. I think Brock here. I don't want to make an assumption on his driving style, but it seems as though he's not quite pushing as hard as he could be. I feel like if he really wanted to be up there and competing with Dylan, he's probably got the pace. He's just holding back a little bit, perhaps, because he knows that fuel is going to come into play later on.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I mean, look, these guys were the top guys for the quali and the practice session. They were fast. They just haven't seen the response from Brock during the race that, we've seen Dylan go out there and fire off a fast lap at a 1:24.88, and then, Brock's responded with a 25:07. So, I mean, it's hard to say. I mean, you want to think the drivers are giving it their all, but you also think they're probably holding a little bit in reserve. They want to get to that last little window. They want to get that last bit of fuel in and run to the checker flag. I don't think it's, they want to try and risk too much at the moment. Shane Nichols just had a bit of an off. Have a look at that. A couple of offs, so he must have gotten a little loose on a couple of corners there that we've seen coming out of that back side of the circuit.
But do you think too, perhaps, with the Gray and Modested battle, that perhaps is that bit of youth versus experience? The younger drivers, they tend to go out gung-ho, they've got genuine pace, and they sort of perhaps don't, and again, this is no disrespect to Dylan, but they don't quite have that same race mentality. They go out there and set blistering laps, end on end, whereas Motorhead's just playing a bit more of an educational battle. He sort of knows he can manage his fuel, he's going to have a bit more at the end. He can bring it when it really matters, step up that intensity rather than, draining all his energy early.
Yeah, I mean, look, Dylan Gray is a good young kid. He's fast, and he's got a fair bit of knowledge. And then, like I say, Brock Monahan's got a lot of experience. So the problem I see there, though, is how far do you let him get away? Like, if he's generally fast and he's got the strategy underneath him, how long do you let him go before you start putting some pressure back on him? We've already seen him make a few mistakes. Maybe got a little bit wide there in the first lap and got himself caught out. We've seen him go a little bit wide in some of the corners. He's not a driver who is away from incident, so he can be rattled. So if I'm Brock, I'm probably thinking I need to bide my time just a little bit. I want to give him a little bit of a window, but then I also want to know that I can jump straight back on the back of him and just rattle his cage a little bit. Yeah, just try and get under his skin just a little bit and just see what he does with it, and how he responds.
Yeah, well, as it stands, Dylan's going a couple of tenths quicker a lap, and he's just edging out that gap ever so slightly. Leith Clement here, after losing out to Ray Oliver, finds himself with a bit of open space on track now. Can just settle into a rhythm and set some lap times.
This is good for Leith. In his own little window, he's got no pressure front or rear. he can just get in and just start knocking out the lap times and just, you know, get himself in a nice groove and get himself set up as we approach the 55-minute mark now. You know, he's only got about 24 and a half minutes left, so you know, it's no! Just as we say that, commentators curse.
I was just about to say that last lap was really critical for him as well, because he was passed by Ray. It was 2 seconds off, you know, let's say the 25-second mark is his race pace, and he did a 27.7, so he was 2.5 seconds off the race pace, and he's probably looking like he's going to be running somewhere in the 27s again this lap. So a couple of bad laps, and it's put him in a bit of a vulnerable position now, because Bradley Wall is hunting him down. Okay, the gap's 5.5 seconds, but momentum is not on Leith's side right now.
No, exactly right. You know, he didn't need that at that point in the race to just skew it off a little bit and put in a bit of a bad lap there. Brad Wall's been consistent. He's just been chipping away, and just working through and doing it good. And look, I mean, the car's straight. Hasn't really put a wheel wrong all night so far, Bradley Wall, and just sitting there and doing what he can do. So I think, you know, it's again, Brad Wall's in that position. He's just stuck in the middle of 2 cars. He's got 5 seconds either side of him. He's just got to get his head down and have a go at it.
Yeah, I mean, Brad missed out quite badly with that start, you know, that spin on lap 1.
Exactly.
But he's recovered quite well to get back up into 6th. He's sitting in a pretty comfortable position. And again, he's running similar sort of fuel strategy, so it'll be very interesting to see just how much fuel they're saving, because it's going to be, you know, every litre, every half a litre even is going to count down the home straight when they come in to make this final pit stop in about sort of 8 minutes time.
Yeah, sort of thinking, yeah, it's going to be about that time, isn't it? I mean, we're looking, what do you say, about 16 laps, so 16 to 48, so about 9 laps away. So,
yeah, not too far away now. So Ray Oliver chasing down Cowie. He was up over about 5.5 seconds. He's got the split down to about 3.6. So he is slowly gaining.
Tim Nichols just had a crash, and we'll throw over that replay and have a look at what's gone on here. What's gone on here? Oh no. Let's
that's going to be a drive-through for sure.
That's, race controller going to look at that. A little...
Unless Tim Nichols has net-coded him in the initial stages, but I highly doubt it. Cowie's made a mistake.
Oh, Cowie's gone. Oh no, Ray's just giving him a tap. Does Ray redress, or does he go race on?
No, I would say that Andrew didn't have control of the car, so...
Let's throw back to that and have a quick look. So Cowie's done that by himself. So we'll just roll this back and we'll have a look, see what he's done.
Yeah, he's just gone a little bit too wide.
He's hit the wall, and what's he done here? No brake lights still. He's just come back on. Ouch.
Yeah, I would. Yeah.
That's race control for that one.
It's a race control, but it looks as though Cowie's just kind of squeezed him a little bit. Cowie, having rejoined the track, probably not going to have much in his favour there, I would think. But
not to be on the racing line.
See what happens. Yeah, it was sort of an interesting one because he was off the racing line.
But the interesting thing now, that's put Andrew Cowan back to P9. That's put him back behind Tim Nicholl and Brett Taylor.
Yeah, that's really cost Cowie.
So that's brought Leith McClimate back up another spot, which is giving him a plus 11. Brett Taylor plus 4. And Daniel Schultzen is up 1, and Bradley Wall is pretty much back where he started in P5. So, interesting saga. As we said, it was going to start shaping up right near this back end, and we're not going to be disappointed. We've got 20 minutes left in the race now. We've got about 6-7 laps before we start seeing the final flurry of pit stops.
Yeah, I would think even less than that, maybe even 5 or 6 laps before we start getting some pit stops.
Yeah, I think someone
Bradley
might
Wall
play the undercut.
now, so
Bradley Wall's got
I mean, we saw a 25-minute stint the first time round, so you know, with 20 minutes to go, it's quite likely he'll get home on that.
Yeah, I mean that could be a good strategy too. He's really got, you know, the people around him could really he could really undercut a few of the boys around him and make sure Tim Nichols just come in as well. So the pit stops are starting to roll. So we'll have to see. I dare say that the boys up the front there, Brock Morrishead and Dylan Gray, have probably got someone in their ear, giving them a lap by number and just giving them, you know, when they need to come in. So they're going to race on. They're not going to take the stop now. They could run very low in their tank and then just splash it and go, so they've got less stand still time. But I don't know, Brenda, what would be your play right now? Would you come in now and run to the finish, or would you try and run it out?
I mean, Tim Nicol was running an alternate strategy, so for Bradley to go in this early in line with Tim is interesting, because it means that either Tim or Bradley have short fueled somewhere along the line. And they'll obviously now fill to the finish. Rather than having to do a calculation, they've decided to run their tank down, and they will have filled it right up. Bradley Wall has done a 15-second stop. Tim Nicol has done a 20-second stop. So that would suggest to me that Bradley probably short-filled his last stop, and he's gone right up on the last stop, and now he's short-filled this stop to get home.
And that's put Bradley back on the back of Andrew Cowie, and Cowie's still yet to make another stop. So this
that'll become a free position.
This will hurt Cowie in the end when he gets that pit stop on the way, because it's going to, you know, drop him back somewhere behind Brad Wall near Tim Nicol. And that's providing race control. I've not got anything to say about that incident, which I haven't heard anything on the comms at this stage. So
no, I've not seen anything come through.
So Modishead has entered the pit lane. So Modishead's going for the undercut, I would suggest. He's going to try
interesting,
and
because
make
we've seen
Dylan
Dylan we've seen the early pit stop from Dylan in previous stints.
Let's just have a look at the pit lane time for Brock Modishead. He's at 18, 19, 20. Oh, geez, a big stop. For 16 minutes, he's just come.
14 seconds of stationary time, so he's actually shorter than Bradley Wall. That's a splash and dash territory, considering a full tank is about 21 to 22 seconds. So he saved himself 6 seconds off a full tank.
We'll jump on board with our race leader, and we'll see what he does at this point. So he's got 30 seconds to Brock Modishead and 31 to Ray Oliver. So he's got to make this clean in the pit, get in and get out and go. So we'll have to see what he does here.
Well, he could almost transit the lane if he's only taking, if he's taking less than 15 seconds of fuel. It's going to be scary close to actually being able to make it in and out.
Here we go. What's he going to do?
He's coming in.
He's in pit lane. There he is. So we're right on board because we can see the back corner there. Long trudge down pit lane to get to his box. As he pulls up now, right into the box. Good stop. Who's that coming around? That's Tim Nicol, has just gone through. Let's jump back to Brock Modishead and see where he is as he's coming around now. Dylan Gray's out.
So
he's out.
Dylan Gray's pit stop 0.3 seconds.
There he is there on track.
Dylan Gray's managed to hold him off in the pit lane.
That's been a good drive there. Ray Oliver is right on the back of the finish. But he hasn't done his third stop.
The pits.
Daniel Schultz
into the pits as well. Yeah, we'll expect to see Ray in this lap probably.
Ray's got enough of a gap back to these boys now. So he's got 25 seconds back to Brett Taylor. Brett Taylor's still to make another stop. And the other boys, Daniel Schultz and Leaf McConnell, they're back. So Leaf jumped. Schultz in the stop. So what's gone on there?
So yeah, 35 seconds from Ray Oliver back to Brandon
Daniel
Walton.
Schultz.
So
22
Ray
seconds, 23, 24. Oh, Schultz.
Daniel Schultz has got damage.
He has to have had damage.
31 seconds
That's
now.
Crazy stop.
That's a very costly stop.
Oh, he's just dropped back now to P9.
Has he sped in the pit lane? But he's still going.
No. You wouldn't.
If he hits 60 seconds, he's sped in the pit lane.
No, he's out 55, so he must have had it, 55 seconds. That's your fuel plus a 40-second hold.
Yeah.
He's probably sped in pit lane, but Ray Oliver's gone again. He hasn't pitted yet. So when does Ray take the opportunity to put this thing in the box and get the fuel to the finish?
Ray last pitted on laps.
Oh, that's...
moment. And Bradley
we're getting a bit of a show here.
Yeah, sideways as well.
That's Daniel Schultz.
Schultz, sorry.
Brett Taylor's now in the box, and that's the 925 of Shane Nicol as well. See them sitting in the lane there.
Yeah, well, Ray Oliver last went in lap 32, so he could, in theory, make it to 48.
Good. Would you want to? You've only got 39 seconds to Brad Wall. Brad Wall's done. He's finished. He's to the end now. So has this been a bit of an oversight by Ray, or is he covered off? Leithman Clement him on the back of Andrew Cowan. Those boys are pitted. Andrew Cowan pitted like 40. So he should get home. Leithman Clement 44, and he's on the back of Andrew Cowan now. So that's...
He's not a bad recovery from Cowie, really, considering.
Well, he's back to P5, so Ray Oliver's just on the pit now, so we'll have to watch from Brad Wall. We'll see where it comes out at. So Ray's in. Stop.
He's in the pit now. So we'll expect probably about a second lap, maybe?
9.
Sorry, stop.
13 seconds. 4.
So he will be doing it in front.
That's the quickest of all the guys in the top 5 so far.
Yeah, well, he's needing a lot less fuel, of course, as well.
See if Brad Wall can get back there, but it's an 8-second gap to Ray there now, and that's Leith Climate on the back of Cowie. It's under half a second. And it's only 1 second or 1.6 up to Bradley Wall there just in front, Brendo. So this is shaping to be quite the finish.
This is the battle on track at the moment as it stands. Dylan Gray's just set the fastest lap of the race, 1:24.57.
But Brock Motteshead hasn't given him the space, 24.67. The boys are not playing now. They're going to fight for this.
Now.
We'll jump back to those front boys in just a moment. We'll see what Leith can do here. His Cowie looks very loose since his pit stop. So I wonder if he's just pressing on. Oh, he's... Oh.
One little bit wide, he's left himself vulnerable. Leith will just be looking to set something up here.
Yeah, don't push it, just set it up. Oh, Leith just had a wiggle right under brakes. That just snapped loose on him then.
No, I just wonder if he went a little bit too deep. He probably could have committed to that. He would have almost got away with it, I reckon.
I think he might have.
We'll jump on board him just enough room.
That's the gap from Brock Motteshead to Dylan Gray, just up there, 2.5 seconds up the road, and he's just pulling margin. Just we see the nose of the right Simca here, just a little bit wiggly, like he's just fighting the front end a little bit.
Yeah, well, I mean they're on sort of fairly low fuel too at this stage. They've only got enough to make it to the finish. They've got 10 minutes left, which will be about 6 laps, I would think.
Just
so pretty much qualifying weight at this stage. expect to see the lap times start to drop a little bit lower. Last lap of 25.2 from Dylan Gray, 25.3 from Motherstead. So Dylan Gray just edging out the slight advantage lap on lap.
That's all it takes, isn't it? You just got to break the spirit of the guys around you, mate. You just keep pulling those quali laps, and then you can just eke a little margin. All you got to do is in the last couple of minutes just maintain the lap, just keep the margin, because you know they're going to be on the same tyres, they're going to be on the same fuel. You just got to break the spirit, I guess. And looks like Dylan Gray's doing exactly that. He's just pulling that margin away and just dominating from the front.
Yeah, definitely Shane Nickel further back down the field sets his fastest lap of the race at 25.8. Down in 10th position, the first of the cars to be one lap down. Got a 12-second lead currently over Steven Sinkovich, but the battle at the moment on screen is Shane Nickel's teammate here for Valve Motorsports, Leith Clement, chasing down Cowie. Bradley Wall not too far ahead. At the moment, it's just down to 0.8 of a second. Cowie's got 1.2 seconds up the road. It's Bradley Wall. Ray Oliver, third place, finds himself in a little bit of space now. 33 seconds behind the leaders. He's got a 9-second advantage over Brad Wall in fourth. So it's looking like a pretty good podium spot here for Ray Oliver if he can keep the car straight and pointed.
Yeah, I mean,
not under too much pressure.
8 seconds back to Brad Wall, that's not a lot of pressure at all. And yeah, all he's gonna do is just eyes forward, man, at this point, and just get it to the checkered flag. So
I thought he lost the rear end there for a second.
You and I, we both stopped and looked and went, not again.
I was just like, not again.
But no, he's running a good race. He's up 3 spots, so you know, again, up onto the podium. And look, this is what we expect to see from Ray, isn't it? We see him week in and week out. He just pegs away. He just makes the podiums. You know, a little mishap there. He just went a little bit deep on the brakes.
Yeah, we better switch to somebody else before he bins it.
We'll go back to the lead, because he's caught right up on the back of Andrew Cowan again. And those boys are pulling in Bradley Wall. So this is the battle for 4, 5 and 6 right here on screen. We've got almost a 3-second gap out the front between Dylan Gray and Brock Watershead. This is
Steven Sinkovich into the pit lane for his final stop of the race. He'll have a very short splash and dash for the last 7 minutes of this race.
He's only about 10 seconds.
Oh, there you go, 11 seconds. So yeah,
that's not bad. We'll see if he can get some spots back. I mean, he is up +1. He is in P11. He would definitely want to make a P10. The Leith's all over the back of Andrew Cowan at the moment.
Starting to show his nose now. Forcing Cowie to run a little bit defensive.
Oh! Cowie's just pushing a little bit too hard. He's just wanting to fight this to the finish. But I think Leith's just going to get this done nice and easy up the straight. You see Cowie with a big shake.
Yeah, another wiggle there from Cowie.
He's not going to let him go though. Cowie's just going to sit there, and Leith's going to get this done. Flip back to the TV cam. Look at that, and just see Leith just got it done. So you know that's Cowie. He's sliding everywhere. Look, the back end of that car just is not happy, Brendo. It's just not having it, is it?
He's certainly not gripping the road. That rear downforce struggling a little bit, but I also think too Cowie lighting up the throttle just a little bit, trying to get drive that's perhaps not quite there.
Oh, he's trying to go around the outside.
He's just overdriving the car by the smallest of fractions.
Cowie spotters listening in the chat. Just tell him to just back it off a little. Just stop pushing. he's pushing very hard. He definitely wants to stay in that top 5 window, but we'll have to see now, can Leith get to the back of Brad Wall at all with only 5 minutes left to go in the race? He's only 1.6, 1.8 off the pace here.
Yeah, I don't know if Cowie's got a spotter tonight. There's nobody else in the team room. Usually it would, used to be Dodds sort of sitting there for moral support. He's obviously jumped ship over to Frog Leap. Tyson doesn't usually sit there during the race. He gives the boys quite a bit of coaching during the week, but you find him in Nasi most of the time. Very good coach is Tyson. Really helps out the developing drivers in his team. As much as I love to hate the guy, I have to give him props for that. He's very supportive of his teammates. Does a very good job there.
Oh, Cowie just
Cowie's stepping it out sideways.
Pressing on. So we just had race control confirm that it's now green flag to the finish. So no safety cars at all tonight. So that's been a stellar. What's going to work out here? Nearly 6 laps of racing around here at Brands Hatch.
Yeah, looking at 56 laps. Yeah. It's quite phenomenal, really. We were expecting at least one safety car. Very easy to make an unforced error and put it in the wall. We haven't seen
Brock's just miscued that.
We've seen a couple of little errors, but nothing too serious.
So that's just given Dylan Gray a big breath of fresh air there at 3.8 seconds now, and just streaking away 3.9 as he gets almost 4-second gap now over Brock Mottershead with 3.5 minutes left to go.
Yeah, that little mistake from Brock Mottershead basically just gifting the win to Dylan Gray.
Leaf sliding as well now. The tyres are just starting to come off. They're not happy at this point of the race.
Yeah, I don't think drivers will have taken tyres on that last little splash and dash.
Oh, look at the wiggles. Cowie's not giving up, mate. He's really getting in there, but we'll see if you get another wiggle here. He didn't get too much of a wiggle. He kind of kept a bit straighter.
He's certainly fighting the car hard. He wants to get that position back. You can see he's just giving it a little bit too much jandle on the exit from time to time. Start tipping out the rear. He's got to catch it.
Smooth is fast. You don't want to be sliding sideways if you can avoid it. So if Cowie can get it straightened back up and press on here, he can definitely maybe put a bit of pressure on both of these boys and cause them to make a mistake, and that'll give them 2 spots. But Brad Wall's driving absolutely phenomenal tonight. After that lap 1 incident, back in P4, just look at the car. I mean, the car is straight, it's clean, there's no damage on it. I mean, the car he's driven the race that, he'd probably dreamed of right now. Just come out, keep it clean, get to the finish.
I have to agree. He's done a very good job. He's kind of just, it's almost been the perfect recovery drive, really. He had a bit of a bad start, as you mentioned, and he's just kept under the radar, kept his nose clean. Hasn't been too aggressive with passing. He's just run his race. Pit strategy's worked in his favour, and he's found himself coming home and, at the moment, sitting there in 4th place, which, given the start he had, is probably a very good result. I think he'd be quite happy with that.
Oh, 100%. And we see Andrew Cowan there. They're both wiggling off the corners, off the slow corners. Both Leith and Andrew have just got major wiggles off these slow corners. But Brad Wall not looking backwards. That's probably good, because he probably doesn't want to see those 2 boys in his rearview mirror for much longer. He's had it there most of the time as we approach the final minute now, as we get into the last hurrah. But as we bounce back to Brock, we see he's got a 3.5 second disadvantage to Dylan Gray. But he's run very deep up there the last few laps. Brendo, he's just almost out breaking himself up there.
Yeah, I've noticed that as well. I think he's just sort of trying to get, a bit like Cowie, just trying to get a little bit too much out of the car in this late stage. A bit of a slide there from Dylan Gray through the corner. Points for style.
Yeah, 4-second gap. We can probably have a little bit of an expression session.
I think the white flag will have come out with less than a minute, or just over a minute to go as the boys crossed the line. So a bit of a parade lap here for our race leader, Dylan Gray. Coming up across the top into Sterling's Bend.
And just having a bit more of a slide there. Nothing too big, nothing too major, just letting it fly. But
1 corner to go, up on the curves, all the racetrack, checkered flags are up.
Flying.
Barney gets his arm going. The flashing lights come through. Dylan Gray, our round 5 race winner here in the Tuesday night AM series for SRW. Second place, Brock Modesthead.
Oh,
and
hold on.
It's a long way back to Ray Oliver.
Has gotten past. What is going on?
Ray was in third.
Sorry, yeah. My fault.
Ray was in third.
I thought
he was just a very, very long way back.
There goes. It looks like Steven Sinkovich just crossed the line there as well.
Crossing the line, a couple of laps, just one lap down actually. Sinkovich.
That's not too bad. There's
pretty good race, and really Ray Oliver crossing over in third. And then we've got a 10-second gap back to Bradley Wall. Leith Clements got in front of Cowie, and he's only 0.6 of a second off Wall. It looks like a lot more on track as they come across Cowie there, coming through.
Oh, Brad Wall's just gone a bit wide. He's going to let Andrew... Oh, he's got Leith.
That was after the flag,
that's
wasn't
after.
it?
That's all right. That's
after the flag.
I was going to say that was exciting. That was a good run. That would have been interesting.
Get excited as Brad Wall's already backed off.
Oh no!
Oh, Tim Nicol, this will be some position too. Oh no, Schultz has already crossed the line in ninth.
He's away, yeah.
At risk of being a lap down, so Tim Nicol will come over the line, last across the line in 8th place. So the podium as it sits, Dylan Gray over Brock Mothershead, Ray Oliver further down in the field, Bradley Wall, Leith Clement, Andrew Cowan, Brett Taylor, Tim Nicol, Daniel Schultz, Shane Nicol, Steven Sinkovich finishes a lap down. Shane actually managed to unlap himself, quite surprisingly. Yeah, very good drive from him, good recovery. Some of our non-finishers, or multiple laps down. Leighton Wills, Calvin Hodgkinson, Peter Pavlovic, and Brad Mays. Massive thanks once again to our race control team, Greg Barber, Jamie Dyke, the promo department safety car, although it took the fastest lap in the warm-up session, was not required in the race tonight as we see our podium line up for the photo shoot.
Brock's like, I'm going to throw some tyres.
All three of them are going to shred some tyres.
Great. Good job, boys. Well done to the podium and also to race control. Is Dylan Gray going to do an SVG and put it nose up on the wall?
Yeah, he's going to do an SVG by the look of it.
Quick, get out and jump on the roof, young man. Get out there and show it off. No, that's been a fantastic drive. That was awesome by everybody there in that picture. So they did well. So just recapping, Ray Oliver up 3 spots and Brock Mothershead up 2 spots from their starting position, and Dylan Gray finished where he qualified. So that's quite the race there for the young man, and for the change in team and everything like that. No pressure. He just got out there and did what he had to do, mate. It's quite an impressive drive from the young bloke.
Yeah, for sure. No doubt the team would be very happy to have him on board there with a debut win for the team. Leith Clement, the hard charger tonight, up 10 positions. Obviously missed out on the top 10, wasn't able to set a qualifying lap. So he's come up from 15th all the way up, or last on the grid, 15th all the way up into 5th. So a great drive from him as well. Pretty good recovery from Shane Nicol, has to be said, after that incident there, followed by a drive-through penalty. He's brought it home in 10th. Had some pretty good pace there as well, just lacked that consistency at times. That penalty definitely cost him.
Looks like we've got our podium up in the green room, so we might get to these post-race.
Alrighty, Ray Oliver, 3rd place here at Brands Hatch tonight for round 5. You found yourself with a bit of open track space towards the end there, mate, but talk us through the rest of your race.
Survival. That's the best way of putting it. It's just getting into a rhythm and trying to stay in with the rhythm, and a few times I let my mind wander, and the end result was let's go for a beach.
But didn't we hear survival in the pre-race top 10 shootout? I'm sure we heard that tonight from Ray.
Yep, and I tried to do it. Well, I think I technically did do it, but yeah, you know what I mean. It's just one of those things around here because of some of the areas where you are on load and you're trying to just slide it in, and being right-hand drive, and I've been driving left-hand drive for the last few weeks. It's just like, yeah, every now and then I just drop the left wheels over the dirt and around she goes.
Yeah, mate. Well, a +3 tonight.
It's one of the. Oh, so I was going to say, it's one of the things that you don't really take for granted, really, is your left-hand drive versus right-hand drive cars, and it can make quite a big difference as well, especially as you say, you know, how you cut your curbs.
Yeah, and after doing 4 hours worth of stints at Bathurst the other day, you sort of get into a rhythm, and that's where your eyes sort of focus, if you know what I mean.
So you've come out of the Bathurst 12 hour, you've jumped in the V8 Supercar at Brands Hatch. You couldn't have thrown yourself in the deeper end any bigger, could you?
Yeah, I think I might be looking for a white padded cell by the end of it. But there was a moment there where I was trying to play pin the tail on the Cowie, but he decided to turn himself into a pinata.
We did see that.
I was just going to ask that, actually. You had some pretty good battles on track, not only just with the track itself, but it looked like you had some good battles with Cowie as well. You know, what was it like racing side by side around a track that was proving to be quite tricky to manage by yourself, let alone around others?
I think tonight everybody was respectful for where I was when I was coming through, apart from old mate gave me a few taps up the back end with some deep braking, but you get that every now and then. But it was just, everybody was pretty much respectful and leaving margin. There wasn't anybody just trying to be stupid, and that was the main thing. I think the biggest thing around here is you want to have that sort of respect for each other, otherwise you are going to end up in a very, very small aircraft accident, so to speak.
Yeah, definitely, mate. Oh, you're doing pretty well in the championship here in the AM Series, and another podium here tonight will increase your position. Obviously racing for Frog Leap Juiced, but who else do you need to thank tonight, mate?
All Ports Gaming, Toyo Sim, the Pet Door Company, and FH Creative, and I just want to have a shout out to Matty Green for RFX Graphics for the Mike Thackwell helmet that I've been running for the last few weeks.
Oh, do we have an in-car of that one?
Let me
see. Rob?
Let me see what we can do.
You can't give the helmet a shout out without getting a shot of it.
Oh.
No, that's helmet. Yeah. You have to go to the gyro.
There it is.
There we go. Whack that up on screen there for you.
Get that up there, but yeah, no, good job tonight, mate. Up 3 spots, so awesome work.
Cool, thank you, boys, and thank you for everything you guys have been doing.
No worries, mate. Alrighty, we will move on to our second place for tonight. Brock Modesthead, mate, you were charging really hard towards the end there, just not quite able to catch him. Talk us through the race.
Yeah, I'm absolutely exhausted, but yeah, I tried to go the undercut on the last stint there, but he just had the pace in the end there, and yeah, I probably overfueled a little bit too. I reckon if I had have put in a couple litres less, I might have been able to pass him there into turn 1.
Yeah, interestingly, you know, we were looking at the pit strategies, and he was sort of getting the undercut on you for the first couple of stints. We saw you switch around for the last one. Lap times were pretty steady, really, from both of you, but obviously we saw a couple of little minor errors there towards the end. Was the strategy sort of your go, or was it just about putting down consistent laps?
Well, to be honest, I didn't really have a strategy coming into it. I just kind of played it as it come to me. But I think just kind of got a little bit over it towards the end there and lost focus, and then made those mistakes, which give him the space between us.
Yeah, definitely, mate. It's certainly a long race. 80 minutes in a supercar around quite a demanding track. It certainly proved difficult here tonight. Either way, though, second place still a very good result. And who would you like to thank tonight, mate?
Riot Sim Racing, Mark Hughes Foundation, Bliss Homes, all the boat ramp boys, and yeah, that's it, mate. Jamie Gear Direct.
Cheers, mate. Well, congratulations on second place here tonight at Brands Hatch. We'll see you again next week. And we will now move on to our race winner for tonight, Dylan Gray. Dylan, mate, it was fastest through practice, fastest through qualifying, and carrying that pace through into the race. Talk us through it, mate.
It was literally from lap 1 last turn. As soon as I went off that track, I went, it's time to go 10 tenths, push it as hard as we can. And ended up doing the three undercuts, 2 undercuts on first and second stint, and then got the overcut on Brock. And then it was just pretty much trying to get the fastest lap, push it to the end, which I did, which was the main thing.
Yeah, good job tonight, mate. And with the new team on board, I mean, that's got to be a bit of a confidence booster now going into, later on in the week and other series.
Yeah, GT3's Friday and then Supercars again around Brands Hatch, which is going to be interesting. Bigger grid in that. But I also had Jet helping me throughout that race, especially with the second and last stint with trying to do a bit of fuel saving and all that.
Very good.
Yeah. So was fuel saving something you were looking at? Because it seemed to us like you were just going out there setting blistering lap times, and that was the game plan. But fuel saving a little bit involved as well.
A lap of fuel I did 1 lap of fuel saving, and I went, I'm losing too much time. Just try and go balls out as soon as I got that undercut in the second stint. In the second stint on Brock, so I tried to do the bit of fuel saving about 5 laps into the stint, and then I noticed I was losing 2 to 3 tenths on Brock. It was gaining on me, and I went, it's time to just go for it. So I went, go for it. I knew because it was going to be a time race, my fuel calculator would say, I'll need this much, and then after I did the pit stop, it was going to say I had 3 litres left by the end of the race, so I planned it out well with the fuel stop for the end.
It was all touch and go, mate. So it was a well managed race. And how did you feel throughout the race? So you're pretty confident out there and comfortable, or you still think there's a bit more in the car?
There's more in the car. I made too many mistakes, and that, especially with my start. The start just let me down. I knew how much throttle I needed for a good launch, and it went straight out the window, that start.
Yeah, mate. And even coming through the field, we noticed on a few times the car looked a bit unsettled, particularly on corner exit. A bit slidey. Was that just picking up the throttle too much, or a couple of setup changes to be made ahead of Sunday, do you think?
I was playing with the roll bars a bit too much. I tried to go 8 and 4 on the front, 8 and 4, and it just didn't work out. So I just went back to what it was on the setup, and then also a bit too much throttle, and then a bit in the grass.
Yeah, good job.
Yeah.
Well, mate, you're making this a regular appearance up here in the box. So now that you're on the new team, who can you thank for us, and if you remember them all?
We got a few. We got especially we got the team. So LMR Esports, Majors Garage, NZ Performance, Wayne. Wayne.
We'll let Wayne go. Yeah.
Yeah, Wayne. I forgot that one.
That's all right.
I'll learn that by the end of the week. That's the main thing.
I'm sure Jen will give it to you.
I'm just waiting to go back in the Discord. Jet will just ring my head off.
Mate, it's all right. It's week 1. You probably, well, I'm not saying you weren't expecting to win tonight, but it's not something you practice. You put the hours into winning the race, not practicing the sponsor shout-outs. You'll get there in time, no doubt. You'll have a few more goes at it before the season's through. Congratulations, mate. Once again, race win here at Brands Hatch, round 5 of the SIW V8 Supercar Am Series. It's been a hell of a race, really, and as we were saying, Rob, probably expecting safety cars didn't come this week. But some good racing in between as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, from when the lights went out to when the flag dropped there at the end, mate, I mean, we were expecting a safety car because we know just how this track is and how competitive these boys can be. And, we didn't see it. We saw some really solid racing and amongst, some of the guys down in and up and down the field. And, big big shout out to the podium there. Ray Oliver stepping himself back up 3 spots from quali, and Dylan Gray and Brock Morrishead there just rounding out the podium. But again, I mean, there was some good drives all down the field. We saw Schultzy with a nice drive, and Brad Wall also, after his lap 1 incident, just getting back on the train and going again. And
again, Cowie had a pretty good run there until right at the end.
And, again, I mean, it's all learning, isn't it? I mean, these guys are there. That's why it's the amateur series. It's there to learn from, and that's where you make the mistakes, and then you get better at it, and you come back and you fight with the big boys on Sunday and just see where you end up. So, I mean, it was a great race tonight. Good show for the viewers, and, again, awesome job for a young bloke to switch teams, and jump straight back in and get a win for himself and for the new team. So, look forward to seeing what these boys can do.
Yeah, well, 100%, and it does sort of bring to an end our broadcast. So a massive thanks to all of our league sponsors: Toyota Sim, Warren and Brown Tools, Mobile Equipment, Grime Industries, who have I missed? Racecraft, and I feel like I'm missing one more. SIMRIGS.com. There we go. I knew I was missing one.
I was thinking, you had me thinking, who have you missed?
thanks to our little screen graphic there helping me out. Alrighty, so that has been the broadcast for this week. We have so much more coming this week. TCRs, F3s, the GT86s, the GT3s, and obviously the main show for the V8 Supercars on Sunday night. Next week we'll see these guys heading to arguably the home of British racing these days, Silverstone circuit, the GP circuit. But for now, it has been a very exciting night here at Brands Hatch. My name has been Brendon Walton. I've been joined by Rob up in the booth, and it's been a pleasure having you here once again, and stay safe. We'll see you all again next time.
This is amazing. Up and clash heads again. This is like Chaz Mostert and Cam Waters. Almost the same situation. Better contact going down the hill. Sam Noble wants to sniff from Dave Coleman now. Sam Noble model right now because, tell you what, Bruce Tannock, Jamie Dyke